Chapter 10:12 for Boss. Chapter 10:12 for Boss beneath the God Emperor City. They were all densely packed with demon beasts, and all the demon beasts in the 10 great mountains had gathered in one place. The level 9 demon beast was as big as a mountain. With a roar, the earth trembled. The entire God Emperor City was trembling. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The rumbling continued, and the demon beast started to attack. The monster army that covered the sky was extremely fierce. Its footsteps shook the sky, unrestrainedly rushing towards God Emperor City. The city was in a state of panic. At first, they thought it was the Magic Tribe's army, but they were not worried because this was Palace Question of God's test for Long Fei. They believed that Long Fei would definitely withstand it, but now. However, it was a huge group of demon beasts. There were countless of them, so it was impossible to estimate that they had never seen something like this before. Many warriors were scared to the point that their legs became weak. Seeing the large group of demon beasts rush towards them was like the end of the world. However, these demon beasts were still only the demon beast in the mountains. It was also just an ordinary demon beast. After 3 consecutive days of roaring in the sky and not coming out from the depths of the earth, if the super monster who was roaring in the depths of the earth had still not come out, then they would probably be even more terrifying. In the palace, Your Majesty, the monster army has already launched an attack. Our guards, Your Majesty, we need to contact the Palace Question of God as soon as possible. It is impossible for us to withstand the pressure with our own strength. A martial general's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He had just ascended from the city walls, and his tens of thousands of guards could not withstand the pressure from the demon beast. Some of them were even crushed before the monster army could even get close to them. Never met. Never. This was the first time in God's martial continent. Monster siege. The guards were defeated, and the inside of the God Emperor City was in a state of chaos. The ones who fled, the ones who killed, the ones who set fires, all became Sin City. The situation became more and more uncontrollable, let alone organizing an effective defense. Great Elder Gu Tong Tian summoned all the Fairy Hall Elders back to the Hall of Immortals. Without the Fairy Hall Elder, no one can enter the Hall of Immortals. What should we do? What should we do? Anxious discussions filled the main hall of the Imperial Palace. There was nothing they could do. At this time, they could only place their trust in their God, the powerhouse of the Palace Question of God. However, Outer Space Palace Question of God. Gu Tongtian's brows slightly tightened as he muttered, "All the demon beasts in the 10 great mountain ranges have gathered at the God Emperor City. Why is this so?" This was the first time he encountered such a thing. He didn't understand. One of the elders said, "Grand Clan Elder, the demon beasts have already launched an attack. If we do not take action, the God Emperor City will definitely become a wasteland. At that time, I am afraid that people will resent our Palace Question of God." As the cow wielder of the immortal domain, they had to protect the immortal domain. However, Gu Tongtian smiled slightly and said, "There are too many ants dying, and is only an ant. Their death doesn't have anything to do with us. I really want to know the purpose of these demon beasts attacking the city." The faces of the few elders turned grim. The other elders all laughed out loud. "I agree with Great Master. They're just mortals. The deaths of mortals have nothing to do with us. These demon beasts have a goal in attacking the city. What is their goal? I want to know too." An elder said, "Grand Clan Elder, why not add a little more difficulty to the Supreme God's trial?" Gu Tongtian's intention was very clear. It was to make things difficult for Long Fei, so that he would not enter the Palace Question of God and become a supreme god. If that was the case, of course, it would be harder and harder to crush him. Gu Tongtian was startled. His mouth curved up as he sneered. "Long Fei, don't you like to hide? Then let's see how long you can hide. Someone come." The star spirit messenger descended. Gu Tongtian said, "Pass down the order for me. The demon beast invading the city is also a test for the supreme god. For him to be able to resist it no matter what, only he can. Would he like to be a hero? Then let him be enough today." Long Fei. Let's see how long you can hold on for. Will you be able to withstand the monster army? The million-strong army of the magic tribe is already in place. Can you block it? If you can't resist it, you must go find the Dragon Tail tomb, right? Ha ha ha. Guton Tian will not let Long Fei die. However, he had to give Long Fei a crushing defeat. He was forced to look for the Dragon Tail tomb to speed up the process. Demon Beast's attack would be unstoppable. Long Fei was definitely not able to hold it off either. The people in the God Emperor city would definitely be killed or injured, and would only give him anger, killing intent, and hatred. These are what Gu Tongtian wanted. He wanted to force Long Fei into a corner. Only in this way would he be filled with hatred. Hatred was the strongest motivation in this world. It can make a man fight desperately. Gu Tongtian believed that Long Fei would definitely be able to find the Dragon Tail tomb. A few minutes later, dozens of Star Spirit Messenger flew out. When the people of the God Emperor city thought that the Hall of Immortals had sent out reinforcements, a voice came out from the sky. Long Fei, the invasion of the demon beast, is also a part of the Supreme God's test. You must withstand it, or else you do not have the qualifications to become the Supreme God. With that, he disappeared. No one wanted to resist the monster army at all. Everyone in the God Emperor city was stunned. At this point of time, what Supreme God test? They did not take them seriously at all. It was just that they understood it a little too late. However, there were also people who placed their hopes on Long Fei. Long Fei, where are you? Save us. Save the God Emperor city. He hasn't seen Long Fei for 3 days. He must have escaped. He's a despicable and shameless person. If you hadn't killed the Supreme God, why would so many things have happened? It's all because of you, you arrogant and selfish person. You piece of trash from the Nantian region. Go and die. Long Fei, I hate you. Long Fei, I won't forgive you even if I become a ghost. Some people were looking forward to Long Fei's appearance. Some even started to curse loudly in despair, blaming everything on Long Fei. People are like that. When it was clear that he was in dire straits, he would always blame it on others. God's Phoenix Pavilion. Qiu Wandao said slightly. Is everyone ready? In the courtyard, about 100 people had gathered. This was their current number. These 100-plus people included the elders of the drug race. Everyone nodded their heads. Yes, we are ready, Qiu Wandao said. Long Fei is yet to come out. We have to hold on to our monster army. We have to hold on. Fat Minchin suddenly roared out, for boss. Daoba immediately followed and shouted, for boss. The noise in the yard was deafening, shouting in unison, for the boss. Kill. Chapter 1014, Crushing Monster Army. Chapter 1014, Crushing Monster Army. The opening of the Boundary S had cut off their retreat. However, the people in the Imperial Palace had never imagined that from the moment they rushed out of the city gates, they had never thought of coming back alive. Fight! For Long Fei. For their boss. They remembered what Long Fei had said 3 days ago. No matter what, they would risk their lives to buy time for Long Fei and block the monster army. In the distance, on a hillside, an old man wearing a black cloak stood beside Zhou Lai and asked, Young master, do you want me to break that formation? Behind Zhou Lai, there was a huge valley filled with the 1,000,000 lions of the magic tribe. Extremely mighty. Zhou Lai laughed coldly, raised his right hand, and said, No need. We have to play the game slowly. Long Fei is not even here yet. The good show is yet to come. Do not be anxious. The old man nodded, yes. Zhou Lai was initially worried that the demon beast would attack them, but he overthought things. Even if those incomparably ferocious demon beasts passed by them, it was as if they did not see them, as they would not move at all. Obviously, their only goal was to destroy the God Emperor city. If that was the case, then why would Zhou Lai do it himself? How great would it be to have these demon beasts as cannon fodder? However, Zhou Lai's brows tightened and said lightly, What's the task I asked you to do going? Young master, rest assured, this old servant has completed everything. I will definitely not let any accident happen to Song Qianqian. The old man in black said. Zhou Lai laughed proudly. Good. And then, a playful and cold smile appeared in his eyes, as he thought to himself, Long Fei, I'll see how you're going to escape this time. Snatching women from me. I'll let you know my methods, huh? Palace question of God. A star spirit messenger reported. Qiu Wandao, Zhang Tianai, and his brothers have already left the city to defend against the monster army. In addition, the million-strong army of the magic tribe has already assembled in the East Cliff Valley. They should be having the monster army attack the city gates, then launching a fatal blow. There was a flurry of discussion within the audience hall. Gu Tongtian asked, Where's Long Fei? Star Spirit Messenger replied, It hasn't appeared yet. Gu Tongtian secretly frowned. Where did you hide? He didn't care about anything else. It was just Long Fei. Long Fei's disappearance caused him to panic in his heart. Gu Tongtian said, slightly, Don't worry about it for now. Let Long Fei and his brothers be crushed by the demon beast. Long Fei, you think you can fight with me? If you listen to me, then anything will be fine. If you don't, then... Humph, let's see who can beat who. Gu Tongtian was unhappy, but he believed that Long Fei would definitely appear. Beneath the God Emperor City. Fat Min Chen Holy Armor Fairy Vane became incomparably huge, charging out like a giant. It was a defense, but also an attack. The first 4 levels were instantly overturned. With him as a blade, more than 100 people stabbed into the heart of Monster Army. They were also instantly surrounded by the Monster Army. Buzz buzz. Qiu Wandao's hair flew in the air, the clothes on his body released a cracking sound, and the cultivation of a first-stage Yuan Xian exploded out. The sword in his hand moved, primordious sword technique. 10,000 swords kill heart. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk the sword moved, forming tens of thousands of sword images that shot out like crazy. 1, 2, 10, 107. Ha ha. Junior brother, I already have 107. Qiu Wandao laughed out wildly. His figure flickered, and in the instant he landed, he slashed out again and again. Every time he killed a demon beast, he read out a number. Zhang Tianai was also unwilling to be outdone, as powerful energy continuously erupted from his body. Those 4th or 5th level demon beasts could not withstand their attacks at all. Suzaku, Ling Long flew up, and a gigantic image of a vermilion bird appeared on her body. She channeled her energy, and with a cry, the sound wave was like lightning, striking all the way up. Boom, boom, boom. Ling Long's body moved again as she floated in the air. Her rainbow feathers trembled as she said, Vermilion bird needle. Chua. With a flap of its wings, the feather turned into an incomparably sharp needle and pierced downwards. A large group of demon beasts fell and were instantly killed. The power of vein of ancient rosefinch was extremely terrifying. With these 2 slashes, the number of demon beasts she had killed reached its highest point. Dao Feng moved. His figure disappeared, and in that instant, the head of a small leading demon beast broke apart, and fresh blood spurted out. Dao Feng slightly smiled and said, Is the commander rank equal to 104 rating monster and beasts? Abnormal. You wish. Ao, you changed into the origin plan set, held on to revenge, and rushed into the most concentrated place in Monster Army. With a move of the idea, the sword intent started to burst out crazily, and 3 sword spirits attacked at the same time. Myriad slashes, whoosh, 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 asterisk a ball of fire danced wildly. The 3 sword spirits danced at the same time. The scene was extremely shocking. Every time they twisted, a demon beast would fall with unstoppable momentum. Rumble, a huge long-handled falchion slashed down from the sky. The ground cracked, and all the demon beasts that the sword chi touched were sliced into 2. A single slash descended. The black knife moved, dragging its long blade like it was flying sand, suddenly leaping. Buzz! Divine Emperor Saber Technique. Boom! A loud sound resounded in the air as an incomparably arrogant power was released. With a slash, the body of a level 8 demon beast was sliced into 2, killing it instantly. The black knife descended from the sky and said, A level 8 demon beast is at least equivalent to 104 rating monster and beasts, right? F***CK. They're all freaks. Is he still human? Too arrogant. It was at this moment. The surrounding demon beasts that were rushing over suddenly started to kill each other, with hundreds of them attacking each other. In the air, there was a special smell, an illusion. Man Toaluo smiled slightly and said, "Now, it's my turn to be first, right?" All of them were extremely powerful. Extreme arrogance. The arrogance and tyrannical personality of Long Fei influenced them. If they did not accept it, they would do it. The 100-odd people managed to block hundreds of thousands of monster army, and those demon beasts showed signs of coming together. Level 4, 5, 6, or even 7, these demon beasts did not have much strength left. 3 years' time, they had become far too powerful. However, the demon beasts that were level 4 to 8 were only cannon fodder. The truly terrifying demon beasts had yet to come out. Fat Min Chin bellowed, "Is that all you have?" It was at this moment. Yinner, who was on top of the wall, suddenly shouted, "Brother Fatty, be careful. At your feet." Chapter 10:15 Collapse. Chapter 10:15 Collapse. Fatty and the others were really strong. However, Monster Army was not only a group of demon beasts from the various large mountain ranges of God's martial continent. There are also some demon beasts that he had never seen before. As Yinner's voice fell, rumble, there was a loud noise from the ground, and a huge mouth made of gears appeared, locking on a Fatty and swallowing him up. Everyone was shocked. What kind of demon beast is this? Fatty, be careful. Fat bro. What came out from the ground was not an ordinary demon beast, but a type of mutated land beast. It was summoned by some sort of power, so it had to devour everything in this place. Ling Long moved, preparing to howl and blast the mutated land beast away. But right at this moment, Yinner's face was pale as she shouted, "Big sister Ling Long, be careful." Chua! The void shattered, and an enormous iron-armored griffin rushed out, its sharp beak aimed at the back of the vermilion bird with a fierce peck. Ling Long! Boom! Boom! Soon after, the sound of cracks in the ground came one after another as a series of powerful and mutated attacks came one after another. This kind of power from demon beast had never appeared before. They were all mutated demon beast. They were hiding deep underground in the void. This time, they were summoned by some kind of power and appeared in God Emperor City at the same time, to grind God Emperor City into powder. Poochie! Ling Long spat out a mouthful of blood as her body sank down from the air. And then, more than a dozen iron-armored griffins rushed out from the void, crazily dashing towards Ling Long. The mutated earth demon also came out from the ground and started to madly crush Xiao Wandao and the elderly in green. Half a minute ago, they could crush Monster Army, but they could not. Right now, they were completely crushed by the demon beast. These mutated demon beasts were just too strong, and their numbers were just too small. Bam! Man Taoyuo's body sunk. He spat out a mouthful of black blood, looked at a spot, and shouted, "Everyone stop breathing. Even the demon beastess would need a poison master. His cultivation is even higher than mine." Bang! Xiaoing was thrown back by a powerful force. The encirclement shrank again. He couldn't hold on any longer. These mutated demon beasts were too sudden. The strength of their bodies were too strange. Ha ha! You're overestimating yourself. You're about to die. Serves you right. Exactly. Long Fei abandoned them, and even foolishly worked for Long Fei. What a group of idiots. Looking at their miserable appearances, they are about to die. Ha ha! Many people in the city were laughing at them. Seeing them being crushed, those people in the city mocked them even more. The imperial palace was filled with laughter. No one sighed, sympathizing with them. They were all fools who had sent Fu Shishan to his death. I never thought that Fu Shishan was protecting the God Emperor City. Not even a little bit. Rumble. The ground sank, and an extremely ferocious beast drilled out from the depths of the earth. Its entire body was exuding a hellish death aura, and its body was huge. It then turned into the ground and suddenly shot out with a gloomy voice, "All of you must die." Boom! 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 Xiao Wandao, elderly in green, and Zhang Ti and I were knocked away by the hell beast and were forced to retreat while spitting out blood. The three of them were extremely pale. Looking at the gigantic, sinister demon beast in the sky, whose cultivation base was at least at the peak realm of the Unity Immortal, it was impossible for them to withstand such an impact. Monster Army was just cannon fodder. These mutated beasts were the main focus. Xiao Wandao crawled up from the ground, gritting his teeth so hard that they creaked loudly. He yelled, "For young Master Long! Kill!" They had to buy time for Long Fei. He had to. Xiao Wandao once again rushed forward without caring about anything else. It was the same for the elderly in green and Zhang Ti and I. Even if they were to be crushed, they wouldn't even think of retreating. Fat Min Shun was tightly bitten by the mutated earth demon. He was struggling to hold on. Looking at his throat that was like an abyss, Fat Min Shun threw caution to the wind and roared loudly, "I'll fight it out with you." As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately jumped in. Palace question of God. These people are going to collapse soon. The strength of these mutated beasts are too strong. I never thought that God's martial continent would have such a beast. So what if he's dead? If he's dead, that's fine too. Ha! Gutong Tian secretly sealed the space between his brows. He still could not detect Long Fei's aura. You didn't really escape, did you? That was what he was worried about. Boom, boom. One by one, they were crushed to the ground. One by one, they were crushed to the point where they could no longer stand. Blood gushed out from their wounds. Those elders of the drug race. A disciple of the logistics department. Blade technique, Han Shueji. Each and every one of them had been knocked down. They really couldn't hold on any longer. Long Fei was not present. Their hearts had lost their backbone, and their battle strength had been reduced by half. He felt hatred in his heart as well. Why couldn't he become stronger? Why can't I help Long Fei share a little more? Why? Suddenly, Xiao Ying fell apart, paralyzed on the ground. He shouted towards the sky hysterically, "Long Fei, where are you? Save us!" Ling Long also collapsed and shouted loudly, "Senior brother Long Fei, where are you? Save us!" One by one, they all collapsed. Their hearts couldn't bear it. It wasn't because he was injured, but because he saw the people beside him fall down one after another. This feeling was too painful. On the city wall, she cried as she said, "Big brother Long Fei, where are you? Come quickly, come back quickly. Sister Qian Qian and the others can't take it any longer. Come back quickly." It collapsed. At the same time, Monster Army was still crazily rushing over. A mutated demon beast deep underground. The number of mutated beasts that were rushing out of the void was still increasing. In the face of such a powerful monster army, not to mention 100 people, even an army of 1,000,000 could not withstand it. Suddenly, buzz! A loud sound echoed in the air above God Emperor City. Just when they thought that the demon beast had entered the God Emperor City again, a figure rushed out from the city. Only after realizing that it was a shadow did their heartaches loosen. Shwa! Twice he walked through the air and landed on top of the city wall. When Yun'er saw the figure, her tears glimmered as she said, "Big brother Long Fei, you're finally here." Long Fei rushed over, looking at everything that happened outside the God Emperor City, seeing his own brother being crushed by the demon beast on the ground, seeing the woman bleeding, then looking at the mocking laughter in the city. Long Fei was angry. Chapter 10:16 Arrival. Chapter 10:16 Arrival. Long Fei thought that it would be difficult for the monsters to attack the city. However, he never thought that the people from the God Emperor City would be so cold and detached. Other than him, no one else could help. Is this the human heart? Is this reality? Long Fei's heart ached as he looked at the carefree people in the city who were watching them play and ridicule them. At this moment, Long Fei laughed bitterly. Since it's like this, you like to watch jokes, right? Then Lousy will let you all have a good laugh. Buzz! As his voice fell, Long Fei placed his palm on the boundary and roared out in a low voice, "All of you should be afraid together." Boundary break. A strong power started to surge, and on the center of his palm, a gold light flashed, directly shaking Boundary to the point of cracking, starting to peel off piece by piece. The cracks quickly spread like a spider web, and within half a second, The boundary above the city wall was covered with dense cracks. Array boundary. As long as you are strong enough and are able to absolutely crush it, your strength will be able to shatter it. Long Fei turned his head to look at the astonished faces of the people in the city. Let's sink into fear, ha. Was Long Fei a good person? No, he had never considered himself a good man. The monsters attacked the city. They attacked the God Emperor city, but the God Emperor Academy did not send anyone out. This made Long Fei very sad. From this moment onwards, no matter how many people he killed, it would have nothing to do with him. From this moment onwards, Long Fei would only defend against the monster siege, and he would not care about the other Magic Tribe army that was watching him like a tiger. To be exact, he would not care whether the God Emperor city was dead or alive. If you are heartless, then I am unrighteous as well. This was Long Fei. If you displeased me, then I will make you even more displeased. Rumble. With a loud bang, the entire city protecting boundary collapsed. In the middle of the imperial palace of the Divine Emperor, the dozen or so grandmasters were simultaneously sent flying. The formation was completely shattered. The formation is broken. Oh my God. Why? It's Long Fei. It's Long Fei who broke boundary. It's him. This damned bastard. What is he trying to do? What does it have to do with us that his people like to die? Is he crazy to destroy boundary? God Emperor City will be stomped into ruins. Panic, extremely terrified. At the same time, confusion appeared once again within the God Emperor City. This was because they had lost the protection of their formations. Outside the city, the roars of the demon beast could not bear it anymore. Everyone hated Long Fei. It was Long Fei that caused them to fall into despair. This was also what Long Fei wanted to do. Since you've made me unhappy, then don't even think about enjoying yourself. Within the Imperial Palace, a deathly silence followed. Those formation masters no longer had the strength to release the formation's power. Damn that Long Fei. The Imperial Palace was in chaos as well. As the fear spread, everything in God Emperor City became extremely chaotic. Is this great? The corners of Long Fei's eyes turned cold. He did not regret what he had done. He was not some noble saint, and if someone liked to see his brother make a joke of himself, then they would become a huge joke. On the city wall, Long Fei watched as Song Qianqian and the others were crushed to the ground, his heart sinking. He did not rush out, but instead shouted loudly, "I'm coming." What they needed now was confidence. Their confidence had been destroyed by the monster army. They needed to rebuild their confidence, and Long Fei was their confidence. In that instant, Mantal Yuo turned around and looked at the familiar figure on the city wall, then shouted loudly, "Long Fei is here." As soon as his voice faded, everyone turned to look. At this moment, Long Fei took out the king's transformation sets one by one, putting them on one by one. His entire body shone with a gold light, his aura spreading out. He was a Ji Zun from the heavens to the earth. Ha! Boss is mighty. The boss is domineering. Demon beast, tremble for me. Ha ha! Each and every one of them crawled up from the ground, as if they had been revived with a full body of blood. Long Fei gave them a strong confidence that Long Fei was their backbone. His battle intent was burning. Long Fei opened the sect system. The idea moved and ordered, prompt for morale. Ding! Consume 100 immortal crystals to use. Use it! The 100 immortal crystals in Long Fei's space ring disappeared, and at the same time, all of the sect morale in God's martial sect rose. In the battlefield, morale was more important than strength. On the battlefield, what was needed was ferocity. At the same time, Long Fei moved and shouted, "Everyone retreat back to the city." Huh? Everyone was taken aback. I don't understand. Long Fei is here. Why should we leave? It should be a battle. Long Fei did not explain. This is an order. Song Qianqian and the rest did not hesitate and immediately shouted, "Retreat." The 100-odd people quickly retreated. Only the fat Min Chun did not react. He was still swallowed by the demon beast, but he could not care so much at this time, and the fat Min Chun had fixed a heaven-defying defense, so he would not die so easily. As they retreated, Long Fei said excitedly, "I want the enlargement stroke." Buzz. A holy artillery was released. Buzz. Another holy artillery was released. Buzz, buzz. 4 holy artilleries came out one after another. It was placed in 4 different locations. The last time he killed Supreme God, he gave away more than 10,000 immortal crystals. Yin Huang Ancestor couldn't even finish all of them, and Long Fei had enough energy. The energy of the immortal crystals had been filled up. Long Fei watched as the demon beast rushed over and crazily chased after Song Qianqian and his group of 100-odd people. The entire God Emperor city felt an intense vibration. The people around the city walls ran backwards like the tide. They ran like hell, and the entire God Emperor city was in chaos. Long Fei did not care about the life and death of the God Emperor city at all now. He once naively thought that the warriors of the God Emperor city would help Song Qianqian fight the monster army together. However, all he saw was mockery and indifference. In that case, then why would he care about God Emperor city? If not for the monsters attacking the city and destroying the consequences of the God Emperor's failure, Long Fei would not have tried to defend himself. Looking at the panic in the city, Long Fei laughed out loud. "Is it good? Ha! Did you enjoy watching a show? Does it feel good to laugh at others? Ha!" Long Fei was jealous of evil. At this time, Yin'er reminded, "Big brother Long Fei, Monster Army is here." Long Fei smirked and said, "It's time to use your big move." Chapter 10:17 Holy Equipment. Chapter 10:17 Holy Equipment. Without any hesitation, Long Fei moved his body. At the same time, he controlled all 4 of the holy artillery, locking onto the place with the densest concentration of demon beast. Boom, 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 boom. 4 loud bangs shook the sky. The entire God Emperor city was trembling because of the power of the holy artillery. Everyone was dumbfounded. Moreover, the moment the holy artillery was released, the energy emitted from the 500 immortal crystals was incomparably huge, so much so that even the air could no longer withstand it. It was too violent. Saint Artifact. What was a Saint Artifact? This was it. The cannonball exploded in the monster army, turning those mutated land beasts into ashes, all of them exploding like nuclear bombs. That kind of power was incomparable. No matter how strong one's physique was, they would not be able to withstand it. The 4 rating monster and beast turned into powder and was killed instantly. The 5-level monster turned into powder and was killed instantly. Level 6, Level 7, and Level 8 demon beast were all instantly killed. The mutated demon beast at the very center of the artillery shell instantly turned into a pile of meat paste, and beast blood flew all over the sky. At this moment, Long Fei's system beep was even more powerful than the holy artillery, and the system notification sound rang crazily. Ding, 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 ding. One after another, it was so deafening that it was impossible to tell what had come out. However, counting it briefly, this shot of Long Fei's was equivalent to 150 million experience points. How fierce was this? One shot 150 million experience. For cannons, with 600 million experience points in experience points. How fierce was this? I just want to ask, who else is there? This was the best place for monsters to attack. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Long Fei to receive so much experience. Seeing his experience points soar to 3 billion once again, and that the reward for clearing the God Emperor Fairyland, level +1, had not been triggered yet, the corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly in excitement. I'm going to fly again soon. Ha ha. Immortal Foundation. The Immortal Foundation of the Fitted Realm. Without the fusion of the Immortal Foundation, he would not be able to level up. He needed the Immortal Foundation of the Fitted Realm. Buzz. System notification. The energy has been filled up. Buzz. System notification. The energy has been filled up. The system beep rang. Long Fei furiously roared again and said, "Blast it for me." Boom, 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 boom. The simultaneous release of the 4 holy artillery was equivalent to 2,000 immortal crystals exploding within the group of demon beasts. The scene was simply too shocking, only leaving the demon beast screaming in pain, and the space around them turned quiet. Not a single sound could be heard from the city. They were stunned. The Divine Emperor's imperial family was shocked. God Emperor Academy was stunned. The Magic Tribe army in the valley was stunned. Even the high and mighty palace question of God was stunned. At this moment, Long Fei was the emperor. He was truly like an emperor. Who would have thought that Long Fei would be able to stand on the city wall and defend against a monster army? Then the power of the holy artillery. If you use it to lock onto the Imperial Palace, if you use it to lock onto the God Emperor Academy, the valley where the Magic Tribe's army is stationed, lock onto. What kind of consequences would befall the palace question of God in the sky? At this moment, many of them felt their hearts go slightly cold, and their hair stood on end. They were angry, but they felt a chill in their hearts. That feeling, it was like a death god had strangled his throat. An indescribable pain. Buzz. System prompt. Filled. 4 gates to attack at the same time. Long Fei move his idea. 4 holy artillery were blasted out, exploding in the group of demon beasts. Those demon beasts were completely stunned by the attack. They were afraid. The monster army was swiftly evacuating. An existence that could not be stopped at all. Ha ha! Monster army has escaped, huh? Boss, you're too powerful. Beneath the city walls, Song Qianqian and the others were cheering. The might of each cannon was simply too strong. Monster army felt like he had seen a ghost and could not resist at all. At this moment, the people inside God Emperor City all secretly heaved a sigh of relief, but Long Fei did not relax. The system did not notify them that they had completed the monster attack, and that was only the first wave and also the weakest wave. The monster attack was not over yet. At the same time, he was also shocked. What are those things? Where did Long Fei get this from? These cannons are too powerful. They are a threat to the entire immortal domain. They are way too terrifying. Some people were discussing this victory. However, many powerhouse were discussing about the holy artillery in Long Fei's hands. This kind of thing was too terrifying. Within the Imperial Palace, Your Majesty, Long Fei is a huge threat to our divine Emperor Empire from the fact that he destroyed Boundary and his 4 cannons. If they target our palace with their muzzles, I'm afraid all of us will die. Your Majesty, we cannot let Long Fei live. This kid can't be left alive. Too much a threat. The Magic Tribe army was stationed at the base. Zhou Lai frowned deeply, his expression extremely ugly and his heart extremely unhappy. He had originally wanted to save Song Qianqian when she was on the verge of death, but he had instead. Long Fei's 4 holy artillery had completely destroyed his plan. Furthermore, the power released by the holy artillery was too terrifying. The monster army could not withstand it, and so could his army of Magic Tribe. They could not withstand it. What should he do? If the Magic Tribe army were to attack the God Emperor City, the 4 holy artillery would be able to stop them. At this time, the black-robed elder hurried over and said, replying to the young master, we have investigated carefully. The energy released by the cannon is immortal crystal energy, at least 500 immortal crystals. If he doesn't have immortal crystals, he'll be wasted. The corner of Zhou Lai's eyes twitched and said with a cold smile, if Long Fei dies, those 4 cannons are all mine. On Palace Question of God, Gu Tongtian's expression was also extremely ugly. Very unhappy. He didn't know where Long Fei got this holy artillery from, but the monster army was destroyed just like that. This was too unbelievable. On the Hall of Immortals, an elder immediately suggested, Grand Elder, Long Fei's threat is too great. We can't let him become the supreme god, and even more so, we can't let him live. Holy artillery was a huge threat to Outer Space Palace. Some of the elders felt their hearts tremble. If the cannons were to fly up, would Outer Space Palace be able to withstand it? It was really an unknown number. Gu Tongtian's eyes flashed with a cold light. The more he wanted to control Long Fei, the more he wanted to do so. The more he discovered, the more he was unable to control himself. He wanted Long Fei to retreat after understanding the difficulties, and then he would suggest a few means to become stronger so that he could look for the Dragontail tomb. Long Fei had not followed the trajectory he had drawn out at all, and his control over Long Fei had never succeeded a single time. This made it very unhappy. Long Fei thought about how to block the monster army and how to block the army of Magic Tribe. However, many people were thinking about how to kill him. Chapter 10:18 Raging Flames. Chapter 10:18 Raging Flames, East Cliff Valley. The shadow moved. Mo appeared from within the real face and said faintly, "Greetings, young Devil Lord." Zhou slightly said, "Master Mo, there is no need to be polite. I am grateful that you were able to help me this time." Mo was actually not someone from the western regions. He was someone from the Dark Domain's master, Song Qianqian. Mo said, "It is my honor to be able to help young Devil Lord." Zhou said, "All right, this time I have an important mission for you. I must complete it." Mo said, "Definitely complete." On the city wall, Long Fei frowned and asked Yunner, "Can you feel it?" Yunner's eyes were startled, and she immediately said, "Big brother Long Fei, I can feel an even stronger energy brewing. What exactly is this?" As expected, Long Fei's heart tightened, and an excited smile appeared on his face. "Come on, the more the better. I need experience. I need soaring experience." Long Fei was not worried as long as there was a system. He would be able to kill them easily. He was not afraid. He was just afraid of lack of experience. The invasion of the city by the monsters was his chance to go on a rampage. Long Fei's voice sank as he said to Song Qianqian and the others, "Don't relax. The monster siege is not over yet." It's not over yet. Wasn't the demon beast scared away? Everyone's expression did not change, but their eyes were not as frightened as before because Long Fei was there. Rumble, rumble. A thunderous rumble came from the depths of the earth. The sound of countless thunderclaps resounded in the sky. It was extremely violent. "It's coming." Long Fei frowned, his eyes staring deadly into the distance. "It's not over yet. The monster army is not retreating at all. They are preparing an even more powerful attack. My God, God Emperor's city is finished. Don't worry, there's still Long Fei. He can definitely hold on." Speaking of him, he's really a brainless person. Long Fei was no longer concerned with what was happening in God Emperor's city. The current him was completely different from how he was 3 days ago, and he was even less worried about the power released by the Holy Artillery, as long as he could stop the monster army. What if the Magic Tribe army could attack the God Emperor's city? Who cares? Before, he still wanted to save the people of God Emperor's city, but now, he had no such thought at all, because of their indifference. Rumble. With a loud bang, a mutated beast emerged from the ground with a scream. At the same time, its abdomen burst open and a fat man covered in viscous liquid rushed out. He roared, "Come on, Fat Minshun." And then, Fat Minshun looked at Long Fei, who was on top of the city wall, and shouted, "Boss, the ground is full of mutated beasts." As soon as he finished, a huge crater with a diameter of thousands of meters appeared on the ground. There were countless craters in the ground, and those craters were filled with mutated beasts. At the same time, the void was splitting open as countless iron-armored griffins charged towards the sky above God Emperor's city. Crap! Long Fei's expression changed. These demon beasts are acting completely differently. There must be a demon beast with high IQ that only knows them. That's right. Their goal was very simple. Attack God Emperor's city, and Long Fei would lose, and if he lost, he would be killed by the system, and 50 of them would die. F***CK. Long Fei cursed angrily and shouted, "Presbyter Chiu, Zong Tianai, Elderly in Green, Black Knife, Ling Long, Qian, Wang Qingshan, Xiaoying, Han Shueji, Leader's son, all of you resist the steel-armored griffins in the sky." They are moving towards the sky above the god Emperor's city. You must not let them attack you. Dao Feng, Fatty, Mantaluo, Ao, yeah, follow me into the cave. We will prevent the ferocious beasts underground from invading. The others are on standby. Long Fei commanded very quickly. These berserk beasts were too intelligent. If they could not stop the holy artillery, they could circle around Long Fei and attack him from the sky or the ground. Everyone shouted in unison. The exquisite rose-finch blood vessel was summoned, and her body turned into a gigantic illusion of a vermilion bird. And she said, "All of you, stand on my back." Everyone flew up. Ling Long then spread her wings and rushed towards the sky above God Emperor City, and suddenly screeched towards the sky. A shrill and ear-piercing sound wave pierced through the void, causing the space to shatter as countless armored griffins rushed out. Kill. At the same time, Long Fei called for 3,000 immortal crystals to be given to Yun'er and said, "You control 3 holy artillery, yes." Yun'er took the immortal crystals and nodded heavily. And Long Fei picked up a holy artillery and descended from the city walls. Carrying a cannon on his shoulder and holding onto a dragon salyer in his hand, he rushed into the deep pit and shouted, "Charge!" Fat Man Chun took the lead. Dao Feng followed closely behind. Long Fei shouted, "Fatty, help us block this attack." Dao Feng sneak attack. Ao, you protect Man Tualuo. Man Tualuo has released a spirit poison. You absolutely cannot let those demon beasts near the God Emperor's city. Absolutely cannot. At this time, Fat Man Chun was a little puzzled. "Boss, why did you help God Emperor's city block these? Why don't you let the demon beast break through the God Emperor's city? Look at the warriors, the families, and the sects and powerhouses in the God Emperor's city. They're all so cold. Why are we serving as cannon fodder?" Man Tualuo's gaze tightened and said, "Fatty, now is not the time to talk about these." Long Fei also felt that something was amiss. Why was there only such a small number of people that came out to defend the monster army? What about Fu Shishan's 100,000 death soldiers that he prepared for 3 years? Where are Song Chanshan's people? Where are the people from the Fat Man Chen's general residence? He wanted to say something out loud. "Boss, in the 3 days that you disappeared, all of our powers were instantly destroyed. The 100,000 death warriors that Sister Yun Shan prepared, the helpers of the Dark Domain S of the Thousands of Realms, were all killed by the powerhouse in one night. There's only one person who has such a power in the God Emperor's city, someone from the Palace Question of God." Ao, you said slightly. Fatty's Chin family has also been wiped out. Long Fei's eyes darkened, his fists clenched tightly, his anger surging. Fat Man Chen's heart also ached as he asked again, "Boss, why must we protect God Emperor's city? This place should be destroyed by him." Long Fei let out a deep breath and said, "We must withstand the attacks of the demon beast, and only what you said just now. Don't worry. When the time comes, we'll settle all the new and old debts together." While they were talking, Long Fei looked up into the sky, his eyes filled with killing intent, and said, "Gu Tong Tian, just fucking wait." Chapter 1019, The Last Wave. Chapter 1019. The Last Wave. Long Fei did not explain why he had to resist the attacks of the demon beast. About the system, he would never reveal his greatest secret to anyone. At this moment, the anger in his heart and his hatred intertwined together. If it wasn't for the monsters attacking him, he would have definitely charged towards the Palace Question of God to kill him. But he couldn't do it now. If the monster attack failed, the system would kill off all 50 of them. It didn't matter if Long Fei died alone, but if he had to kill 50 people, that was out of question. Long Fei did not explain. Fat Minchin also did not pursue the matter. As long as Long Fei wanted to do something, even if he knew that he was going to die, he would jump down without hesitation. Quickly charged forward. Long Fei didn't explain, but no one knew how much anger he was feeling. He ran to the edge of the crater. Long Fei took a step down, heavily shouted, and said, "Holy artillery, blast." He fired off a cannon attack at the incomparably vicious beasts in the deep pit. Rumble. An extremely strong power exploded in the deep pit, blasting countless mutated beasts into a bloody mess. In the instant that the holy artillery was filled with energy, the dragon Salyer in Long Fei's hands moved. Black dragon, angry, slash. Roar. The black dragon roared. The black flaming blade chi was released without any restraint and struck down heavily. Walala. The mutated beast let out a painful cry as the blade slashed down. The system beeped crazily. Long Fei landed on the ground. Fatty, Daofeng, Aoya, Man to all you owe, the four of you from a group. According to the formation attack that I mentioned just now, you definitely cannot let any more mutated beasts pass through. Long Fei stood in front of the biggest deep hole. After finishing his instructions, Long Fei immediately jumped in. The deep hole was like a bottomless abyss. The abyss was like a hell, constantly emitting the aura of death. Hell? So what? It wasn't like he hadn't been there before. The king's variant set that Long Fei was wearing was exceptionally ferocious, like a beam of light rushing down a dark abyss. The dragon Salyer in Long Fei's hands continuously swept across. Get out here. Isn't that the demon beast attacking the city? Aren't you going to attack my God Emperor's city? Come on. Long Fei wanted to end this quickly. He wanted to rush up to the palace question of God as soon as possible and overturn him. What's wrong with hiding in the dog hole? Come out if you dare. Long Fei roared. It was also at this time. A golden light flashed from the depths of the abyss. It was incredibly dazzling. He could not stand Long Fei's provocation and roared out from the abyss. The strong aura of death pounced at him like a ferocious beast, and his deep voice sounded out, "Weak human, prepare to die with me." Buzz. A mutated beast that burned with the flames of death appeared in front of Long Fei. Heh, boss. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, revealing a look of excitement. The two lumps of green pupils of the hell beast twitched as it disdainfully said, "You dare act impudently in front of me with the cultivation of a Yuan Xian? You're courting death." As soon as he finished, the beast disappeared. Was not afraid at all. In his heart, he was furious as he roared out, "Super Scion, Level 3 Evolution, Transform." Shwa! Long Fei immediately changed his body. Along with the aura of the Emperor armament, Long Fei was now like a shooting star. Golden energy flames ignited his body. Golden hair shot up into the sky. Thousand Blessings sect. After clearing God Emperor Fairyland, all of Long Fei's skill levels had increased by 1. All of his current skills had been upgraded. He struck out with his palm. Boom, boom, boom. In the depths of the abyss, the power of the holy Buddha shrouded down and instantly crushed that ball of flames into their original form. Long Fei's footsteps moved, and he roared, "Unparalleled at level 9. Open it for me." Level 8 unparalleled leveled up by 1 level, 9th level. Rumble. A attribute strength of 512 times erupted. Long Fei suppressed the beast with one hand, and with a berserk fist, he furiously struck down. "You laugh at this, Daddy? Disdain of your father? You think you are worthy of it? The mutated demon beast is amazing, right? Hell is great, isn't it? I have even killed a king of hell. Do I have to be afraid of a mere demon beast like you? King Kong Fury Ape, 100,000 punches. Blast you to death. Violent kill. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Hell's Vicious Beast for obtaining 180,000 experience, 210,000 power celestial points, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Hell's Vicious Beast. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Power of Death. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for resisting the second wave of Demon Beast attacks. Damn, there's a third wave? Awesome. Long Fei quickly flew out from the abyss. In the deep pit, the bodies of Aoya and the other 3 were covered in blood. Seeing Long Fei rushing out, they all grinned. Long Fei glanced at the sex system. His experience points had already reached 700 million points. so Long Fei could bring up all of these experience points, or even let his sect level up. Long Fei didn't bring it up immediately. The second wave is over. Long Fei let out a light breath and said, "The beasts underground should not appear anymore." "Ao," you said while panting heavily. "I just received news that the 1,000 forces have blocked it, killing 30 armored griffins. Those griffins have all fled back into the void." Fat Man Shin said, "Boss, do you mean that there are even stronger demon beasts?" Without waiting for Fatty to finish, the sky split open. Boom, boom. The dense power of Celestial emitted out from its body. It had thick armor, and all of them were fairy beasts with immortal roots. Their strength was double that of before. It was also the last wave. Boom, boom. When Long Fei and the others flew out of the deep pit, they saw an armored beast in the distance. Every beast was glowing with a golden light, a blinding golden light. Moreover, the lowest level of these war beasts were all at the 6th rank. In other words, it was a grade 6 immortal foundation. Long Fei grinned. Fat Man Shin also said excitedly, "I'm going to make a fortune." "Ao," you said. "All of a sudden, there are so many fairy beasts. Their power is much stronger than mutated beasts." Long Fei roared. He was extremely excited in his heart. "System, you are too damn nice to me. What kind of monster is attacking a city? It's completely giving me experience. Haha." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk Song Qian and the rest landed on the ground one by one. She stood in a row with Long Fei. Long Fei's blood boiled. "Don't you all lack immortal roots? If we kill all of them, you wouldn't have to worry about your immortal foundation." Song Qian said slightly, "Long Fei, the fairy beast army, we are not a match for them." Long Fei looked at Song Qian and said, "Don't worry, I will help you." Chapter 10:20 10 billion experience. Chapter 10:20 10 billion experience. Fairy beast, a beast that carried immortal foundation. They were extremely powerful. Moreover, an extremely rare existence. The appearance of the fairy beast army shocked everyone. The warriors of the gods' martial continent were too lacking in immortal roots, and many people were fighting to the death for a piece of immortal foundation. The appearance of a fairy beast would cause a large amount of power to fight for it. Now, just outside the God Emperor city, a large group of fairy beasts appeared. They were all high-level fairy beasts. Many people swallowed their saliva. It was too enticing, but no one from God Emperor city dared to go out because they weren't a match at all. The fairy beast was too strong. On Palace Question of God, how could so many fairy beasts suddenly appear? Grand Elders, should we? The elders of the Palace Question of God also lacked immortal roots. They were also unable to condense their immortal roots while cultivating. Seeing such a huge army of fairy beasts, they were unable to withstand the temptation. But compared to the fairy beast army, they were more afraid of Gutong Tian. Gutong Tian said slightly, "Let Long Fei go alone." "Yes, sir." Although they wanted to hunt for immortal roots and get a piece of the cake, they did not dare disobey Gutong Tian. Moreover, they knew clearly in their hearts that if this kind of fairy beast army did not intervene, they simply could not resist. Gutong Tian's heart became more and more filled with doubt. Why is it like this? The demon beast of the 10 great forbidden mountain ranges gathered together, and a mutated demon beast came out from the depths. Now that there are suddenly so many of them, what exactly are these? Long Fei, what exactly did you do? He could not understand. In the eastern cliff valley, Zhou Lai's heart trembled. He also drooled over those fairy beasts, but compared to these fairy beasts, he wanted Long Fei's life even more. Long Fei, I want to see how you can block this wave of fairy beast attacks. Haha. At this moment, Inmo and the old man in the black cloak both disappeared by Zhou Lai's side. Right now, Long Fei was fully focused on defending against the attacks of the demon beast, so he did not expect that Zhou Lai would make a move against his men. "Boss, what should we do?" Fat Man Shin stared at a huge explosive bear beast, his eyes glowing. The fairy beastess with eternal Yuan Xian roots, the ones he needed right now. Everyone looked at Long Fei, waiting for orders. Long Fei said, "Old rules. You all cripple the fairy beast and leave the rest to me. As for the immortal foundation, you all do not need to worry. I have a way to reveal all of it." It would take a long time for an ordinary martial artist to break away from the immortal foundation. Long Fei didn't have time to give them. He had to fight with all his might. No one hesitated. Fat Man Shun was the first to unrestrainedly charge out. He roared and said, Come and beat this daddy." The Black Knife followed. Dao Feng, Man Tuo Yuo, Zheng Qingsong, Xiao Ying, and Han Xueji formed a team. They had trained in the ability to attack together, so they could work together. Xiao Wandao brought along the 3 Yuan Xian Realm Elders. Ling Long and Ao Yu stood to the left and right of Long Fei. A great battle was about to begin. This was the last wave of the Beast Wave. As long as he could withstand this wave, Long Fei's God's martial sect would be established in a righteous sense and would be acknowledged by the system. The sect's system must be established because, with the rise of the sect's grade, it could trigger many functions. The power of a sect experience, in the store of the sect. Even in the legends, it was the point that Long Fei valued the most, the sect's teleportation. He could instantly teleport sect disciples to a place, beat them, and suddenly send a large group of his brothers over. I'll ask you, are you afraid? Bang, bang, bang. The first wave of people who charged up were all sent flying. The armored fairy beasts were much stronger than what Long Fei could imagine. Galen, Nox, come out. Yes, sir. A loud sound resounded in the air as Galen, dressed in death armor, rushed out with a great sword in hand. On the other side, Nox, who was wearing a red vest and had a basketball in his hand, was also summoned out. With these two as the center, kill them for me. Long Fei gave the order. With an attack power of several tens of thousands of points, Galen and Nox, whose attacks had explosively struck a few thousand points, charged forth. The whirlwind slash started to twist, and Nox also continued to spin nonstop. Once Nox's big move was triggered, Long Fei would slash down. Unparalleled 9th level. The guillotine. Crack. With the fairy beast's head cut off, the system sounded out. Boss, over here. Fat Man Shin raised an explosive bear fairy beast whose body was covered in injuries and armor that he had backfired on and threw it beside Long Fei. Long Fei's left hand moved, and the monarch holy sword chopped down. Ding! The system beep rang. Long Fei took a look at the explosive bear defensive immortal root and said to the fatty, "The immortal foundation is here. Continue to be killed." It was like a raging fire. There wasn't even the appearance of an incomparably powerful fairy beast army. Yet Long Fei had already fled in a sorry state. On the contrary, Long Fei and the rest of the group were killing them with even more excitement. Even though they were also wounded and each of them had been wounded, no one retreated at all. Many people slowly gathered on the city wall. Their eyes were filled with envy. So many fairy beasts, so many immortal roots. Sigh, if only I could join Long Fei's team. What are you talking about now? Weren't you mocking Long Fei and the others for being idiots? That person's expression changed as he said, "Didn't you say it too?" Within the Imperial Palace. "We can't continue like this. Long Fei will kill all of the fairy beasts, and we won't be able to get anything out of it. Humph. This is the God Emperor city. We just need to crush Long Fei." Long Fei is a man who values friendship very much. When we made a move on him, we used him to threaten Long Fei and made him hand over his immortal foundation. If that's the case, the temptation of the immortal foundation was too great. A lot of people had their eyes on the immortal foundation. Even the elders of the palace question of God all had this idea. But in comparison to them, Zhou had already moved a long time ago. Seeing the fairy beasts becoming fewer and fewer, Zhou turned around to look at the million-strong army in the valley. The magic tribe army roared. Zhou looked at the distant Long Fei and laughed complacently. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, you're dead for sure today. Buddhist illumination. Long Fei's palms struck down, Following that, he shouted towards the fitted realm's fairy beast, "Big sword, kill it." Galen moved, holding onto the sword with both of his hands. He fiercely slashed at the fairy beast. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10 million experience points while killing fairy beast. Power of celestial 130,000 points. Energy values 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining grade 8 immortal root. It was also at this time. The system rang out once again. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for completing the demon beast attack. The demon beast attack has come to an end. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for establishing God's martial sect. Rewards: 1 billion experience points, 1 million power of celestial points, 100,000 points reward. Long Fei's experience in the joint sect system had already reached 10 billion points. Do you want to upgrade? At this moment, in the direction of the East Cliff Valley, dust filled the sky. The million-strong army of Magic Tribe began to attack. Chapter 1021, Broken City. Chapter 1021, Broken City. The Sandpiper clams fought with the fishermen, and the fish benefited from it. Who is the snipe? Who is the clam? Who is the fisherman? Long Fei had blocked the demon beast attack. His people had also paid a huge price, with more than 100 people dead and half injured. Only Long Fei and the rest of the main forces were still alive, but they were heavily injured. At this point of time, their fighting strength was less than a third of their total. The reason the Magic Tribe army had rushed out at this time was definitely to attack Long Fei's acupoints. However, a shadow soldier came to Long Fei's front and said, "Boss, the Magic Tribe's army is attacking. Should we start attacking?" At the same time, Fat Man Shin scolded angrily. He's so King Sinister. To attack at this time, he's too shameless. "Boss, what do you think we should do?" No one was happy. His steps shook the sky, and he thought about it more and more until everyone in God Emperor City heard him. Some people were worried. Some laughed heartily. "Aren't you Long Fei awesome? Continue. Let's see how long you can remain arrogant for." Palace Question of God has orders. This is a test for Long Fei. No one is allowed to intervene and help her. Now I understand how powerful and incisive this move is. Long Fei. Oh, Long Fei. Let's see how you're going to deal with this. The people from Palace Question of God are awesome. Many people were laughing at him because many people were displeased with Long Fei. Long Fei had killed so many fairy beasts and obtained so many immortal roots. This made many people jealous, so jealousy would turn into hatred. The people of the Li clan were like this. The people from the Palace Question of God were the same. Even though the Magic Tribe army was pressing down on the land, they had never thought of helping. They wanted to see Long Fei being stepped on, wanted to see him being crushed to the ground and unable to get up. Long Fei turned around and glanced at the city gate. There were still no royal guards. No one was blocking the Magic Tribe's army, and Long Fei's heart had completely died. Since that was the case, why did he, a member of the Nantian region, have to protect the God Emperor's city? How could he protect a city that didn't even protect itself? Heh. Long Fei laughed coldly, a hint of pain in his voice. And then, Long Fei took a step back and said, "Let's retreat." Fat Man Shin was startled and said, "Withdraw? Boss, did I hear wrongly?" Everyone looked at Long Fei. They couldn't understand Long Fei. Long Fei slightly said, "God Emperor City. I want to turn God Emperor City into ruins." He had to block the attack because if he failed the quest issued by the system, they would be killed. However, he could block the army of Magic Tribe, but he could not. The key point was, the people from the God Emperor City made Long Fei very unhappy. Long Fei's words fell. Fat Man Chin immediately became excited and said, "Ha ha, we should have done this a long time ago." I agree. I agree too. Treat us like jokes. They're sitting in the city watching a play. It's time to make them afraid. Their opinions were surprisingly unanimous. Everyone was very unhappy with the God Emperor City. Finished. Long Fei brought dozens of people to quickly retreat. They did not want to enter the city. At the same time, They passed through the elders of the drug race for them to evacuate. The Black Knife then went to fetch Yunner, who was on the city wall. Long Fei's actions caused everyone inside the God Emperor city to be startled. Why did they run away? What the hell is going on? How can they run? What is this dog doing? The inside of the God Emperor city was in a state of panic, but it was not too intense. Everyone was discussing why Long Fei had to retreat. Wasn't this the supreme god's test? How could he retreat? Did he not want to become the supreme god of the palace question of God? Many people were puzzled. At this moment, the Magic Tribe army entered his field of vision. The army of 1,000,000 was extremely valiant. Young master, Long Fei has retreated. Zhou Lai was startled. He did not expect Long Fei to suddenly retreat and said, I did not even set any conditions, and he already left? Isn't this too honest? Could it be a trick? Zhou Lai's heart trembled. His eyes revealed a sinister sneer and said, Long Fei, even if there's a trick, you can't win against me. Ha ha. Charge. If Long Fei doesn't resist, then turn the God Emperor's city into ruins. I'd like to see what you're up to. Zhou Lai was not scared by Long Fei's retreat. Since you were retreating, then you should charge forward even more ferociously. He increased his speed. The Magic Tribe army advanced quickly and did not encounter any obstructions. Long Fei will definitely take action. Who doesn't want to become the supreme god? He definitely has a plan. He will definitely hold off the Magic Tribe's army, so there's no need to worry. If even that enormous monster army could resist it, the army of Magic Tribe would definitely do the same. The position of the supreme god was supreme. The head of the palace question of God, the head of the immortal domain. Who doesn't want to become supreme god? Defending against the Magic Tribe was Long Fei's supreme god's test. He would definitely appear. He would definitely resist the Magic Tribe's test. The Magic Tribe army got closer and closer. The footsteps grew louder and louder. The entire God Emperor city was trembling. In half a minute, the Magic Tribe army had already rushed to the bottom of the God Emperor city. A giant beast Magic Tribe, wielding his hammer, shouted, Break the city for me. Rumble, rumble. The catapult's crazy bombardment stopped half of the city wall in its tracks as the Magic Tribe's army poured into the city like a tidal wave. Everyone in God Emperor City was dumbfounded. The Li clan members were dumbstruck. Even the people from the Palace Question of God were dumbfounded. At this critical moment, Long Fei did not make a move at all. Zhou Lai's voice sunk as he shouted, Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive. Kill. The city gate was pushed down. The 1,000,000-strong army surged. The moment they rushed into God Emperor City, they crazily massacred. Those people did not even have time to react before they were split into two. They were all stunned. How could this be? Why? They couldn't understand. Wasn't Long Fei supposed to protect them? Isn't Long Fei a trial of the supreme god? Why was it like this? They deserved to have Long Fei protect the God Emperor City in front of them. They treated Long Fei as a fool. You like to ridicule? You like to ridicule? Now slowly ridicule. Slowly ridicule. Looking at the people of God Emperor City being slaughtered, he was filled with hatred, but he suddenly realized that this was the immortal domain, not the Nantian region. Even if he had done too much and changed the entire God's martial continent, no one would remember him. Since you won't give me face, then why should I give you face? Help! Save us! Murderous and looting were taking place within the city, and miserable screams could be heard everywhere. God Emperor City became a city of massacre, blood flowing like a river, corpses littered the streets. Here, death was dancing wildly. The God Emperor City had become a living hell. Chapter 1022. I'll show you what qualification is. Chapter 1022. I'll show you what qualification is. Long Fei did not regret his decision. His personality said, If you treat me well, I will treat you well twice over. You are my brother, and I will cherish you with all my might. However, if I treat you well and give you a chance, and you do this again and again, then I'm sorry. But if you don't care about face, then you shouldn't live in this world anymore. looking at the sky full of flames and rivers of blood flowing in God Emperor City. Long Fei's eyes were cold and detached. It was just like how the people in the city looked at him coldly in the beginning. Zhang Tianai slightly said, "Long Fei, isn't this too cruel?" Fat Min Chen shouted, "Elder Zhang, have you forgotten how they treat us?" In the beginning, they were cold and emotionless. In such a big God Emperor City, not a single person was willing to fight alongside us. God Emperor City is our God Emperor City, not theirs. Now it's their turn to be massacred. How can we be cruel? Fatty was still suppressing his anger, feeling extremely displeased. Daoba also said, "These people should know what it means to be scared. They should be proud and haughty, treating us as fools." Who is the fool now? Ling Long muttered, "Senior brother Long Fei, this magic tribe is too cruel." Long Fei did not speak. He would not interfere. As long as it did not provoke him, he would never care about the life and death of God Emperor City. As for the position of Supreme God, 3 days ago, he wanted to obtain the position of the Supreme God so that he could give orders for the people of the God Emperor City to unite and defend against the army of the Magic Tribe. The palace question of God Supreme God's trial was simply playing. Since that's the case, let's see who can pull it off. Palace question of God. All the elders in the hall revealed a look of anger. What the hell is Long Fei doing? How can he retreat? This is too presumptuous. They were all criticizing Long Fei for his wrongdoings and did not even look at themselves. This was the situation. As the strongest power of the immortal domain, they actually allowed the Magic Tribe army to slaughter him. And in their eyes, the ordinary people of the God Emperor City were nothing more than ants, not worth their high and mighty gods attacking. Gu Tongtian frowned, his expression unhappy. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, I really can't see through you. Grand Elder, if this goes on, the God Emperor City will be finished. An elder said lightly. Gu Tongtian ignored him. He didn't care about the life and death of the God Emperor City at all. He only cared about Long Fei. Another elder said cautiously, Great Clan Elder, why don't you allow us to fight? The God Emperor City is the last place we... Gu Tongtian glared at him. The elder was so frightened that he immediately fell to his knees. They're just a bunch of ants. Why bother about their lives? An elder sneered, from beginning to end. Gu Tongtian knew that if Long Fei was unable to stop the Magic Tribe army, they would immediately turn the God Emperor City into ashes. He never thought that the people of the God Emperor City would be dead. Kill them all, ha ha. Zhou Lai laughed wildly in satisfaction. So what if you're Immortal Domain's first city? So what if you're a God Emperor Academy? In front of my Magic Tribe's army, they are all trash. Zhou Lai was incomparably pleased as the million-strong army massacred everything in the city. It was also at this time. The Black Knife ran back and said, Boss, Yunner is gone, and the Holy Artillery is also gone. In another place, Young Master Long, Alliance Master Fu, is also gone. One controlled the Holy Artillery. One was controlling 100,000 immortal crystals. The two of them disappear at the same time. Long Fei's brows sunk. The anger in his heart surged. Taking a step forward, he instantly appeared in the air above God Emperor City and stared at Zhou Lai, who was on the back of a super war beast. Zhou Lai laughed coldly. Long Fei, you're finally out? Don't waste your breath on Laozi. Laozi is only asking you one question. Where are my people? Long Fei did not want to waste words. Now, his anger was ferocious and his heart was filled with displeasure. When the surrounding people saw Long Fei appear, at this moment, they once again placed him in front of their savior. Long Fei, save us. Master Long Fei, save me. After experiencing fear, the people of the Palace Question of God did not attack. The people of the God Emperor Academy did not attack. The people of the Li Clan also did not attack. They were like children who had been abandoned, standing alone without help in despair. At this moment, they treated Long Fei as their savior. Long Fei did not even glance at them. Instead, he stared straight at Zhou Lai. Zhou Lai smirked proudly and said, No one can save you, and so can Long Fei the dog. Ha ha! Long Fei, do you want that little girl? Do you want that big-chested beauty? Ha ha! Kneel down and beg me. Zhou Lai was extremely pleased with himself. Looking at his surroundings, he felt even more proud of himself. So everything was under his control. There were even superpower house surrounding Long Fei. Zhou Lai roared. Kneel on the ground and beg me. I will spare them. Long Fei's forehead turned sinister as he said, You're courting death. Ha ha ha. Zhou Lai laughed madly and said, You want to die? Who is courting death? Stealing women from me. Long Fei, you shouldn't have, but you shouldn't have fought with me, Zhou Lai, for a woman. Who do you think you are? If you don't piss yourself, what right do you have to fight with me for it? At this moment, Song Qianqian also rushed over. Song Qianqian's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, Zhou Lai, quickly release Yin'er and Sister Yinshan. When Zhou Lai saw Song Qianqian, she became even more beautiful after not seeing him for a few years. She immediately said, Qianqian, it's good that you came. Song Qianqian became angry and asked, Zhou Lai, what are you trying to do? Zhou Lai said, I want him to kneel down and beg me. Long Fei, kneel down. The voice was deep and thunderous. The entire God Emperor city was stunned silent, as well as everyone's gaze turned to look in their direction. Long Fei landed on the ground lightly, looked coldly at Zhou Lai, and said word by word, You can make a move against me, but you can't make a move against the people by my side. Do you think that the great army of 1,000,000 magic tribe is that strong? Do you think that just because you have a few immortal realm powerhouse S by your side, you are strong? Do you think a trash like you can fight against me? You say that I don't have the qualifications? I'll let you know what qualifications are. Long Fei was furious. The anger of the day was vented out crazily. The moment he said that, he roared out, Gravity Troll, come out. Boom! The air split open as a super giant demon landed heavily on the left side of Long Fei. Layamo. Yes, sir. Another giant demon fell down. Earth Devil. Boom! The Earth Demons also landed heavily on ground. The three giant demons stood on Long Fei's left and right sides, exuding an abnormally mighty and domineering aura. However, and this was not the end. Chapter 10:23, Arrogant to the Extreme. Chapter 10:23, Arrogant to the extreme, the three giant demons were incomparably mighty. She stood beside Long Fei like a super warlord, her aura extremely savage and devilish. The entire God Emperor city was completely silent. The people from the Palace Question of God were also stunned. Giant demon. It's the giant demon of the breaking through the seal. Could it be? Long Fei is the person who helped them get rid of the seal? Is he a demon too? We have been looking for the Devil Slayer, but who would have thought? Long Fei is a devil. They were shocked by the appearance of the three giant demons. Searching for the Devil Slayer was like a joke. Zhou Lai was also shocked. He never thought that Long Fei would be able to summon the three super giant demons. They are the magic tribe. This was the first time Long Fei made the three giant demons public. This was the first time he had acted so recklessly, without any regard for the consequences. He used to worry. He was afraid that he would be surrounded and killed in the presence of a demon, but he realized that he was wrong. Powerhouse was the king of this world. As long as you were strong enough, even 10,000 people would respect and worship you. Damn, mighty and domineering. Boss, too powerful. Haha, this is our boss. Fat Man Shun and Dao Ba were excited. They were shocked by the three-headed giant demon that Long Fei had summoned. Zhou Lai's face became ugly. However, Long Fei sneered and said, Are you qualified? Is he not qualified? I will give you the right to become even stronger. 14th Dragon Ancestor, get out. Boom! With a loud sound, an explosion sounded out from within Long Fei's body. Following that, the Dragon God's roar came from the sky. Black Dragon Ancestor, come out. Rumble. Black Dragon Ancestor rushed out from the Dragon Salyer S, his huge body, which was covered by his black dragon scales, glowing with a blinding light. The aura of a dragon burst out from his body that could intimidate even 10,000 miles, as his huge body blocked out the sky. Black Dragon Ancestor replied heavily, "Boss, Sea Dragon King, roar!" The arrogant and tyrannical Sea Dragon King charged out of his body and roared, "Those who touch my boss die." Green Dragon Ancestor, come out. Boom! Another cyan dragon rushed out of his body and floated behind Long Fei, heavily saying, "Boss." 8 golden dragons out. Patriarch Ghost Dragon, come out. Blood Dragon Ancestor, come out. Poisonous Ancestor, come out. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, 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 bang. One after another, the entire God Emperor city was squashed. The 14 dragon tribe quietly floated behind Long Fei, and then, together with the 3 giant demons, they shouted out, "Boss." His voice was deafening, and his mighty and domineering aura was in complete disarray. Too cool. At this moment, the entire God Emperor city, the entire immortal domain, was trembling because of Long Fei. This was the first time Long Fei summoned all of them out. His eyes were cold as he stared at Zhou Lai and laughed. "Qualifications enough?" The voice was like a bomb that exploded on Zhou Lai's mind, and it also exploded on the entire God Emperor city. In an instant, it was completely crushed by Long Fei, and even millions of people didn't even have time to breathe as they let out heavy breaths. He had never seen such a scene. Never. This was a shock they would never forget for the rest of their lives. "Oh my God, Long Fei, who exactly are you?" Too strong. We all say that he's arrogant and conceited. This bastard has such great power. The things he had before were basically being low-key. Zhou Lai, the young devil lord, looks like a joke. The shock caused by the 3 giant demons was very strong. The appearance of the 14th dragon ancestor brought the trembling of his heart to a peak. It was incomparable. Zhou Lai's face became extremely unsightly, as if someone had ruthlessly slapped him a few times. He never thought that Long Fei would actually possess such a powerful strength. This qualification was too strong. Palace Question of God was also surprised. Gu Tongtian frowned. He was not too shocked by the appearance of the 14th dragon ancestor. He already knew all of this, but the appearance of the 3 great demons shocked him greatly, and he thought to himself, "Long Fei, who exactly are you?" Even the dragon ancestor appeared. That means Long Fei is really the prophet's son. Only he can find the dragon domain that disappeared for more than 6 million years. It's really too fierce. Their hearts were also cold because of Long Fei's strength. This kid is really incredible. If the dragon ancestor can summon it, then who in the immortal domain can block his footsteps? Many elders looked at Gu Tongtian. On the other hand, a smile hung on Gu Tongtian's face. God Emperor City. The million-strong army of Magic Tribe were trembling in fear. Zhou Lai's mind was also trembling. He was unable to endure the pressure from the 14th dragon ancestor's dragon aura, and his heart felt uncomfortable. Long Fei laughed. "Do you still have the qualifications?" Zhou Lai was speechless. Although he was the young devil lord of the western regions and the descendant of the master Magic Tribe, he was not even worth a fart when compared to the current Long Fei. What kind of existence did the dragon race used to be? Hegemony. An absolute hegemon. Zhou Lai didn't speak, but the corner of his mouth curled up into a death god smile. With a ferocious roar, he said, "I'll let you know what qualifications are. Kill." Suddenly, there was an explosive sound. Long Fei's idea moved. The 14th dragon ancestor roared and started moving crazily. Boom! Boom! Rumble! The entire army of 1 million Magic Tribe was destroyed in a matter of seconds. They were massacred. The 14th dragon ancestor unleashed his might, and they were unstoppable. The million-strong army of the Magic Tribe was trampled like ants. 1 minute. Just a minute. In the million-strong army of Magic Tribe, only the few people beside Zhou Lai remained. All of them were instantly killed. It was also at this moment that the system sound that rang out from Long Fei's body was enough to blast a mountain range to the ground. Experience points madly piled up. It rose to 15 billion. Long Fei was not in a hurry to level up. The blood was like a flood, flooding the streets of God Emperor City and turning the streets into a river. Long Fei didn't even blink as he stared at the trembling Zhou Lai. He asked coldly, "Qualification? Is that enough?" Zhou Lai's face turned pale white. His legs were shaking, and he couldn't stand properly. It was too hard to bear. The million-strong Magic Tribe army was instantly killed. Who could resist? Terrifying. Zhou Lai heavily swallowed his saliva and said with a somewhat trembling voice, "Long Fei, if you dare touch me, I'll make sure you never see the two of them again. Zhou Lai, will keep my word." This was his last trump card, the registration card. He didn't think that even though he wanted to make Long Fei look bad, he had actually turned in such a miserable state. At this moment, Yin Huang Ancestor slightly said, "The Yin soldiers have succeeded." Chapter 1024. What the F***CK are you? Chapter 1024. What the F***CK are you? Yin Huang Ancestor's voice sounded. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Forever. Look over there." Yinner and Fu Shishan slowly walked over from nearby. Zhou Lai's expression changed and said, "How could they?" The last trump card was gone. The fear in Zhou Lai's heart grew even stronger. He suddenly took a step forward and said, "Continue. What other cards do you have left?" "All of them." He vented his anger. Zhou Lai retreated several steps and said, "Long Fei, you've won." "He won. If you're not dead, how can I be considered victorious?" Long Fei playfully laughed. "Weren't you very pleased with yourself just now? Didn't you say you wanted me to kneel down? Didn't you say that I don't have the qualifications to fight with you, nor the qualifications to fight with you over a woman?" Long Fei took another step. Zhou Lai took a step back and said, "Long Fei, don't go overboard. You should know who I am very well. I'm just going too far." "Ow, bite me." Today, he was very unhappy. God Emperor City's coldness had made him unhappy, and Gu Tongtian's methods had made him unhappy. Now that Zhou Lai had captured Yinner and Fu Shishan, this made him even more unhappy. If it were not for the fact that the ghost soldiers were watching Zhou Lai closely, they would have had to go through a lot of trouble to find Yinner and the rest. Zhou Lai continuously retreated and said, "Long Fei, don't be too arrogant. In front of me, in the end, I'm the worst." Suddenly, Long Fei took a step forward, and the dragon salure in his hand moved, slashing down. Black Dragon Ancestor followed suit, and the black dragon aura on the dragon salure pressed down. "I am arrogant, crazy. What can you do?" With speed reaching his limit, the dragon salure smashed down heavily and cut Zhou Lai's shoulder. "Kneel!" Zhou Lai was caught off guard. With a sinking shoulder, he bent his legs and kneeled down heavily. Bam! Crack! The kneecap cracked, and fresh blood spurted out. Zhou Lai screamed miserably in pain. "Inmo, Protector Black Robe, kill him for me." Buzz! An explosion sounded in the air. Inmo rushed out into the sky. The Black Robe Protector had arrived instantly as well. Sudden attack. Zhou Lai was in so much pain that he started to sweat profusely. Boom! Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch. In that instant, Chun Tianfei's footsteps moved, and the moment Long Fei made his move, he was already prepared. He felt the energy fluctuation in the air, and before Inmo could rush out, he had rushed out and landed beside Long Fei. The holy armor fairy vein in his body moved and roared out, "Wang!" The voice was loud like a bell. Chun Tianfei coldly snorted, "You want to hurt my boss? You have to get past me first." At the same time, the black knife moved, the green dragon crescent moon blade in its hand chopped at Inmo. The blade's spirit shook, the divine emperor slash, the power to shatter the void. Rumble! An attack sound and a defense sound simultaneously rang out. The Black Robe Protector was blocked. Chun Tianfei stood there without moving, his divine armor's defense abnormally sturdy, as if he was a mighty general. The black knife, on the other hand, was even fiercer. The God Emperor's blade technique immediately cut Mo into two. Instant kill. The Black Robe Protector was also forced to spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Long Fei laughed coldly. Continue. Zhou Lai's expression became even more unsightly, and he stuttered, Long Fei, I'm wrong. I shouldn't have fought with you. I shouldn't have fought with you over thousands of kilograms. I'm wrong. I'll apologize to you. Please spare my life. I definitely won't provoke you again. I swear to him. He was scared. He was truly afraid. Right now, there was not a single person around him. The million-strong army of Magic Tribe had been killed, Black Robe had been severely injured, Mo had been killed, and this place was tens of millions of kilometers away from the Western Magic Tribe. No one would be able to save him. Even his master would not make it in time. This was the reason he was afraid. However, at this moment, Gu Tian, who was in Palace Question of God, had disappeared. Now you know your wrongs. Haha, Long Fei said without the slightest hesitation. Too late. As soon as he finished, Long Fei raised his dragon salure once again and roared, Those who touch me die. The saber chopped down. At this moment, the sky darkened. A boundless might pressed down and roared, Long Fei, stop. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Thunder rumbled, as if the sky was about to split open. Unparalleled power. At the same time, Long Fei's blade was held back by a powerful force, unable to continue his attack. In the sky, Gu Tongtian's huge face was imprinted in the air. He stared at Long Fei and bellowed, Long Fei, I told you to stop. Did you not hear me? Gu Tongtian. Long Fei roared out in a deep voice and said, You're finally out. Hatred grew. Killing intent grew. The killing thought was boiling. In the 3 days that he had disappeared, the Chun family was destroyed, Fu Shishan's 100,000 warriors were killed, Song Qianqian's men were killed. All of this was heard by Long Fei. The anger in his heart was never extinguished. Now that Gu Tongtian had appeared, Long Fei had to hide the killing intent in his heart. Gu Tongtian asked coldly, What? Do you still want to fight me? Kid, you'd better listen to me obediently. Otherwise, all of you will die, do you understand? Gu Tongtian's words were filled with contempt and disdain. He was a powerhouse of the flying fairyland, an ant beneath a flying immortal. Even if you were in Immortal Peak realm, you wouldn't even be able to move half a hair on the flying fairyland. This was the difference in strength. Threats. Long Fei hated people who threatened him the most. Moreover, I should use my brothers and family to threaten him. Long Fei laughed coldly. Are you threatening this, father? Gu Tongtian's eyes became gloomy. You call yourself your father in front of me? Buzz! A bolt of lightning smashed down, and Long Fei's body sank, to the point of nearly kneeling on the ground. His expression was abnormally unsightly. TL. At this moment, 14th Dragon Ancestor moved. Long Fei shouted and said, This is my problem. Don't move. Cluck, cluck. Long Fei's joints were crushed with an explosive sound. His internal organs were all displaced, and he was feeling incomparable discomfort. This was only a small bit of pressure from the flying fairyland, but to Long Fei, it was as if a mountain was crushing down on his shoulders. You told me not to kill him, right? Ha! Ha! Long Fei laughed sinisterly, holding the dragon's salure tightly in his hand. He stared at Zhou Lai, raised his head, and roared. This daddy just has to kill him in front of you. What the fuck are you doing? Come down and bite me if you dare. While they were talking, Long Fei's heart exploded. Unparalleled level 9, open. Patriarch, Yin Huang Ancestor replied. Understood. With a move of the Yin Huang Ancestor's power, the pressure on Gu Tongtian was directly expelled out of his body. Long Fei's body recovered its freedom and chopped down at the top of Zhou Lai's head. Die. Chapter 1025. Hard-shelled Gu Tongtian. Chapter 1025. Hard-shelled Gu Tongtian. A furious roar. However, everything was cut down by a blade. Zhou didn't have time to react. He thought that with Gu Tongtian's appearance, he at least wouldn't die, but so what if it was the great clan elder, Gu Tongtian? He could stop Long Fei. No, Long Fei went crazy. Even he was afraid of himself. No! Zhou let out a mournful cry. Seeing the dragon Salyer cutting down, he shouted, "Master, save me! No one can save you. Not even the emperor." Boom! As the blade cleaved down, heads flew up, and fresh blood spurted out madly. In the sky, Gu Tongtian withdrew his primordial spirit and sucked it in. At this moment, he was also filled with thunderous fury, and the sky continued to sink. The gigantic simulacrum stared at Long Fei and said angrily, "Long Fei, you are too arrogant." Buzz! With an explosive sound, all of the flying fairyland's power exploded forth. Next, Pucci. Countless warriors in God Emperor City were crushed to the point of kneeling on the ground, spitting out blood. Some of them even had blood flowing out from their heads. He didn't even know how he died. Suddenly, Sun Dadu and the others could not resist and instantly knelt on the ground. Their faces were in pain as they looked at Long Fei and said, "Young Master Long, we will be leaving first." They used the last bit of their power and jumped up. They wanted to rush to the sky and self-destruct their immortal foundation that they had cultivated for dozens of years to break Gu Tongtian's pressure. They were brothers that came with Long Fei in the water, brothers that went with the fire. Even if he died, Long Fei would not let them die. The idea moved and shouted, "Gu Tongtian, I'll let you have a taste of the holy artillery's power." 1,000 immortal crystals filled. Ding! 1,000 immortal crystals filled up. Long Fei withdrew his dragon Salyer, lifted up the incomparably huge holy artillery, and shot towards the sky. Rumble! The strong pressure had broken through a small gap. Long Fei was extremely shocked in his heart. Just how strong is this Gu Tongtian to actually only use 1,000 immortal crystals to tear a tiny bit of the pressure he released? Abnormal strength. Abnormal boss. I will definitely kill you. Long Fei gritted his teeth as he thought. It was also at this time. Yinner brought out the other 3 holy artillery-s. Fu Shishan also took out 100,000 immortal crystals worth of space ring S and said, "Long Fei, catch." The ring appeared in his hand. Long Fei moved. "Let's see how strong your pressure is." 10,000 immortal crystals filled with energy. All 4 gates are open. Buzz, 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 buzz. This was the limit of the holy artillery, the limit of its energy. Long Fei shrugged and roared at the sky. "Is your palace question of God amazing? Slaughter them all." The energy released by the 10,000 immortal crystals was extremely huge, directly ripping apart the sky curtain. The huge illusion of Gu Tongtian in the sky was also shattered. "Holy artillery, you are incredibly powerful, Gu Tongtian. Show me again." At the same time, Long Fei kept asking in his heart, "Has Patriarch found the location yet? Did you sense his location? I need his position." Yan Huang Ancestor said, I'm looking, don't be anxious. No matter what, let's blast him with a shot first." Gu Tongtian released so much pressure that it split the sky, causing him to feel extremely unhappy as well. He lowered his voice and said, "Long Fei, you are courting death. Laozi is courting death. Come King down and hit me." Long Fei's eyes kept on turning, trying to find Gu Tongtian's position. He wanted to use the holy artillery to attack him. Whether it was useful or not, he would first shoot a few times at. The instant that Long Fei spoke, a black shadow appeared in the sky. Yan Huang Ancestor immediately said, "That's his position in real face." And then, Long Fei immediately carried the holy artillery and locked onto the black figure, and excitedly laughed. "Blast you to death." At the same time, a golden sword appeared in Gu Tongtian's hand. The sword released a light aura and pointed straight at Long Fei. Shua! A golden blade energy pierced through everything. Yin Huang ancestor and Yinner shouted at almost the same time, "Big brother Long Fei, quickly dodge. Kid, quickly dodge." This power was too strong. Only the two of them could sense how strong this sword chi was. However, at this time, Long Fei had no intention to dodge. She just wanted to clash head-on with him. Aoya moved. The three sword spirits were very powerful. The powerful sword intent spread out and blocked the golden sword intent. Buzz! Buzz! The three sword intents did not even manage to touch each other when they instantly shattered. The black knife moved, and his blade spirit also moved. With a roar, he chopped down with his blade. Boom! The power of the golden sword chi did not weaken at all. The black knife retreated repeatedly as it spat out a mouthful of blood. Its face darkened and shouted, "Boss, your strength is too strong. You cannot resist. Quickly dodge." Even with the two Vajra attacking him, it was still impossible. Gu Tongtian's strength was simply too strong. Fat Man Shin took a step forward and said in front of Long Fei, "In me, Holy Armor Fairy Vein. Open the 10th level." Buzz buzz. With a few explosions, the divine sword on Fat Man Shin's body was released, forming an extremely heavy defense. He stared at Gu Tongtian in the air and said, "Boss, kill him." At this moment, Long Fei had no choice. With a move of the idea, 10,000 immortal crystals shot out from the holy artillery, smashing right at Gu Tongtian's head. In that instant, Gu Tongtian's golden sword chi also pierced through. It stabbed into Fatty's godly armor. Boom! The godly armor exploded. The Fatty's body was pushed back. Unable to endure it any longer, he shouted in anger, Crack! The golden sword chi pierced through the heart of Fat Min Shun. Fat Min Shun was stunned. He retracted all the power from his body and used all of his strength to fiercely push back the golden sword chi. In the end, the golden sword chi pierced through Fat Man Shun like a spear, pinning him to the ground. Chen Tianfei laughed crazily. Following that, he turned his head to look at Long Fei and muttered with a smile, "Boss, I'll be leaving first." He saw the bottom of the health point. Death descended. Long Fei panicked at this point. Seeing Fat Man Shun being nailed to the ground by the golden sword chi, his body trembled. No, no, no. The sky exploded. The impact of 10,000 immortal crystals on was not easy, but this only caused a little bit of damage to him. This little bit of damage was nothing to others, but for people like him who only had 2 years of life, it meant that his 1-month lifespan was gone. Anger raged. Killing intent rose in his heart. Long Fei, go and die. At the same time, the sky split open and a black shadow sprang out, coldly snorting. Enough! Who is the black shadow? Chapter 1026, Violent Chaos. Chapter 1026, Violent Chaos. With a shout, a demonic intent filled the sky. The person who arrived? Western Devil Lord. The master of magic tribe of the Breaking Through the Seal was also the most powerful one of the magic tribe. His voice slightly suppressed Gu Tongtian. Logically speaking, furthermore, he treated Zhou Lai as if he was his own grandson. He should be even more furious than Gu Tongtian, but, on the contrary, he was exceptionally calm. Because of Long Fei, he needed Long Fei. In these 3 years, he felt his lifespan being used up. He was afraid that the day his lifespan was about to be used up would come, which caused a sliver of fear to form in his heart. This fear was like a demon that was deeply rooted in his mind. It couldn't be cut down, it couldn't be destroyed. This greatly affected his cultivation. Finally, he thought that if he wanted to cut off this hard demon, he would have to obtain more lifespan, and only by shackling God's martial continent's hard demon would he be able to find and kill the dragon domain and obtain the dragon ancestor's secret treasure. This was his only path. Thus, Long Fei cannot die. At the very least, he couldn't die yet. Gu Tian was enraged by Long Fei, and his killing intent soared to the sky. If he was allowed to continue like this, his only hope would also be shattered. Once the pressure disappeared, his idea also sent a sound transmission to Gu Tian. Brother Gu, calm down. The two of them are allied together. The old man who appeared on the blood pool the last time was Gu Tian. Gu Tian's flying fairyland's aura also stopped for a moment, and he quickly calmed down. However, at this time, Long Fei looked at the fatty and saw that his heart had been pierced with a big hole. The killing intent in his heart immediately made him lose his reason, and he roared, "Is that enough? Is that enough? Enough, mother! Accompany your father's brother." Carrying the holy artillery, he fired another shot at Gu Tian. Rumble! Rumble! His voice was deafening. However, the energy from the 10,000 immortal crystals was rapidly expanding and was also quickly being suppressed by a strong power. Then, a crack appeared in the sky, and the power of the master of magic tribe surged, directly transferring the energy from the 10,000 immortal crystals into the void. Transfer of power? Kakashi's ability? Long Fei's eyes darkened as he stared at Western Devil Lord. Western Devil Lord slightly asked, "Long Fei, what are you using to fight us with? You are too weak now. If you want to kill us, then go find the Dragon Tail Tomb, the open dragon domain, and obtain the dragon race's full strength before you can kill us. Otherwise, you are not your match, understand? Speak out." At this point, there was nothing left to hide. Long Fei was not an idiot. He naturally could think of ways. "Ah ha ha." Long Fei laughed out wildly. "I've finally revealed your motive. I am the son of a language. The only one who can find the dragon domain is me, but I will not do so. Do you want to obtain the secret treasure of Long Clan? Ha ha! Don't even think about it." His voice was extremely arrogant. He already knew, and he also definitely wanted the open dragon domain. But that was what he said, and it annoyed them both. Gu Tian's eyes darkened. With a cold snort, he said, "Is it because you aren't looking for dragon domain? If you don't find the dragon domain one day, one of the people beside you will die. Today is this fat pig. Tomorrow is your woman. And the day after tomorrow is your Nantion region's grandfather, family, and brothers. If you have the guts, then don't look for it." "Huh, Long Fei, let's see how many people around you could die, ah." Gu Tian was also boiling with anger. He was extremely furious. His words had once again touched onto that weakest nerve in the depths of Long Fei's heart, which he wanted to protect the most. His eyes turned vicious. Long Fei's chi changed. Following that, Long Fei bellowed, "Enchanted! Buzz!" His body changed, and 6 black bone wings broke through his back. His hair was like blood, swaying in the wind, and his entire aura became abnormally cruel. He held a stone tablet in his hand, and a god Stella Stone was resting on his shoulder. His aura was incomparably savage. At the same time, it was also extremely eye-catching. It was simply a show of force that could explode the heavens. The god Stella Stone moved, like a treasure sword pointing at Gu Tian. It said, "You want to harm the person beside me, right? Then I'll kill you today." Enchanted. Long Fei had completely changed. The strength system in his body had also completely changed. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Is he a demon? He can become a demon? What kind of magic is this? Why have I never seen it before? 6 wings? And all of them are wings made of bones. What kind of magic is this? All sorts of discussions broke out. No one knew why Long Fei had turned into this state, and no one knew what kind of demon he was because the demons caused by the side effects of the god's bone taboo did not belong to the plane of the god's martial continent. Yinner muttered, "Big brother Long Fei is so scary." Linglong muttered to herself, "He must be feeling terrible. Look at his expression, it's so painful." Pain? It was quite painful. Every time Long Fei entered the demonic state, his body would undergo an intense metamorphosis. Especially when his bones broke through his body, the pain of his body splitting apart was incomparable. This was the first time he had displayed the demonic side of his body in the immortal domain. because he was truly infuriated. Fatty was dead. Gu Tongtian was threatening his family, and this was something Long Fei could not tolerate. With a thought, he soared into the sky. He roared in his heart, "God's bone taboo, open the 9th floor." The power of the 9th level erupted. The black flames of power around Long Fei's body burned even more crazily. It was as if he had come from hell, and it was extremely cruel as he stared at Gu Tongtian. "Are you messing with my family? Come, let's see who can kill who today." Buzz. With that, Long Fei disappeared. A green light flashed on the god Stellastone. Long Fei's power completely surged out. Magic chop. It smashed down ruthlessly towards Gu Tongtian's head. The muscles at the corner of Gu Tongtian's eyes twitched, and he shouted, "You sure you don't know your own limits? With just you? All techniques through the heavens." Gu Tongtian's energy surged as he raised his hands and said solemnly, "Break for me." The god Stellastone crashed down. Gu Tongtian shook his head. Crack. Bang, bang, bang. The air continued to crack and emit muffled sounds. Gu Tongtian continued to descend. He couldn't bear it. The combination of the power of the 9th level of the god's bone taboo and the power of the god Stellastone was just too strong. Although it was not enough to destroy another strike like what it had done to restrain Hanba, this power was enough to shake the powerhouse of the flying fairyland. Gu Tongtian was crushed. For the first time in centuries, everyone in the God Emperor city was stunned. Even the Western Devil Lord was stunned. This kid, incredible. Chapter 10:27, Berserk. Chapter 10:27, Berserk. It was a complete mess. Gu Tongtian was in existence at the peak of powerhouse in this world. There have been no rivals for hundreds of years, not to mention that no one could crush him. But now that he had been crushed by one of Long Fei's powers, he continuously descended from the skies. A loud sound echoed out. Rumble. Gu Tongtian knelt in the middle of the pit, his hair falling down in a bun, blood trickling down the corner of his mouth. His face was extremely pale, and he looked even more miserable to the extreme. A heavy blow. The entire city was so quiet that not a single sound could be heard. Too fierce. It was so sudden that it was hard for people to accept. Gu Tongtian, the super invincible powerhouse of the flying fairyland, was forced to kneel on the ground by Long Fei with just one move. His heart couldn't take it. The power of this move was something even the Western Devil Lord could not react to, as his heart trembled. This is your strongest power? The strongest trump card? The strongest power? Maybe, because the power of the strike had instantly killed Hanba. It was also because he had restrained Hanba's power that he was able to unleash the destructive strike. Speaking of the strongest power, that was even more so the level 10,000 Hanba. However, his loyalty was only 0.00001%. Long Fei did not dare to summon him out easily. Hanba was the true trump card of Long Fei. Level 10,000 divinity. Hanba, who had been suppressed for billions of years. He was the true, terrifying existence. When Long Fei's move landed, he did not stop. The gigantic god Stellastone in his hands moved, and once again smashed downwards towards Gu Tongtian's head. Wasn't he overweeningly arrogant? Come again. Boom. Long Fei moved. He moved with all his strength while kneeling on the ground. Magic chop. Western Devil Lord shouted. Long Fei, stop. Who the F*** K are you? You're telling Lousy to stop, so stop? Let's kill him first, then you. Long Fei's anger did not decrease at all. The fatty's death had stimulated her killing intent, and his mind was filled with the berserk power of slaughter. He would be displeased if he did not kill Gu Tongtian. Gu Tongtian slightly raised both his eyes, gritted his teeth as his body slowly stood up. Looking at the god Stellastone that was smashing down from the sky, his voice was extremely low. Long Fei, you have lived to the end. As soon as his voice faded, his figure disappeared. Too fast. It was so fast that no one could react. However, Long Fei became even more berserk. He suddenly retracted his god's Stella Stone and roared in his heart. Level 9, unparalleled, open. The elemental energy within his body increased by 512 times. Every time his strength increased, he would have to endure a great deal of pain. This was the god's bone taboo, the power of punishment. Long Fei had to grit his teeth to the point of shattering it. Tears streamed down Yun'er's face as she said, "Big brother Long Fei is in too much pain. He really is in pain. Father, please help big brother Long Fei. Sister Qian, help him. He's in too much pain." Yun'er could feel all the pain that Long Fei's body was going to suffer, and even if she could feel it, she wouldn't be able to endure it. Help Long Fei. They all wanted to help. But to them, Long Fei and Gu Tongtian were existences akin to gods and fairies. They could not help in any way. Going up to help would only add to Long Fei's troubles. Everyone felt a heartache, as if they had died. If they could become a little stronger, they could share a little more for Long Fei. It would not be like this, where there was nothing that could be done. The great master is getting serious. Long Fei is going to die. I've never seen a Grand Elder fight so seriously before. He's a level 8 flying immortal, a supreme existence. Who could possibly be his enemy? Long Fei is really overestimating himself. Just watch, he's going to die soon. Gu Tongtian was too strong. It was as powerful as the heavens and as powerful as a god, and no one could even touch it. He had always estimated his lifespan and dared not use his true strength. But now, his strength exploded, and he could no longer hold himself back. Western Devil Lord's heart also thumped. This is bad. At this moment, even if he wanted to stop it, it would be too late. Long Fei had angered a super ferocious beast, so the current Gu Tongtian would kill him no matter what methods he used. This power, even Western Devil Lord was a little afraid. However, Long Fei was fearless. His elemental energy exploded more than 500 times. He instantly saw Gu Tongtian's moving trajectory, and the corner of his mouth curled up as he laughed sinisterly. I'll let you see something even worse. Buzz! The god Stella Stone that was put away moved and suddenly swept out. Not waiting for Gu Tongtian to come close, the green-silver light on the god Stella Stone fiercely exploded. The power of the heavenly scourge hidden within the god Stella Stone was activated. Chua! He swept out, heavily slashing at Gu Tongtian's waist. Wah! Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood. Gu Tongtian's body exploded outwards as his eyes stared unwaveringly at Long Fei. He said, "Impossible, absolutely impossible. You can't see my speed clearly, you can't." When he said this, the 6 wings on Long Fei's back moved so, disappeared. He landed behind Gu Tongtian and swung his god Stella Stone. Boom! After chopping him down from the sky, the ground exploded, and like a meteorite, a huge pit appeared. Gu Tongtian was still kneeling on the ground, and before he could even react, Long Fei had shaken his powerful strength. Rumble! Gu Tongtian was sent flying, and once again leaped into the air. Long Fei struck again. Are you threatening this, Daddy? Boom! Gu Tongtian was sent flying. Whoosh! Long Fei landed behind him again and shouted, Kill my brother? Boom! The god Stella Stone rumbled. Gu Tongtian was once again sent flying. His body moved once more as he shouted in a deep voice, Injure my father? Boom! Boom, boom, boom. A series of continuous, explosive blows. A berserk, dominating force. Taking advantage of his sickness, killing him, and not giving Gu Tongtian any chance to retaliate. Long Fei used all of his strength to beat Gu Tongtian to the point that he did not even look like a human anymore. His hair was in disarray, and fresh blood dripped from his body. Again and again, those who were still alive in the God Emperor City, God Emperor Academy, and the Palace Question of God, not a single sound could be heard. The air was too oppressive. The scene crushed everyone's hearts, causing them to be unable to breathe and feeling extremely uncomfortable. Suddenly, shadows flashed across the outer space palace. Streams of unparalleled flying fairyland power surged out. The four great elders all took action. At the same time, Gu Tongtian laughed sinisterly. Ha ha, ah ha ha. Long Fei, is that all you have? Chapter 1028, Undead Power. Chapter 1028, Undead Power. Is that all you can do? Gu Tongtian's disdainful sneer exploded in the sky. His laughter was filled with arrogance and contempt. Not die. He was still lacking in strength. The damage was still lacking. The most crucial point was that the amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was much higher than what Long Fei had expected, by as much as 5 billion points of blood. An incomparably terrifying existence. The existence of the gods' martial continent's #1 boss. Long Fei's damage was indeed great, and every time it happened, it would cause millions of points of damage. However, to the 5 billion point of HP, it was minuscule, just too minuscule. That's all. This bit of ability is enough to crush you, Long Fei replied, then immediately following up with another strike from the god Stellastone, and also in that instant, a sound of energy colliding rang out. Shoot! Shoot! The energy shock wave was like an extremely strong sword chi, as it crushed half of the gigantic building in the God Emperor's city to dust. In the sky, Gu Tongtian, who was in an incomparably sorry state before, grabbed onto the god's Stellastone with one hand as the corners of his mouth curled into a dark smile. Long Fei, you want to kill me? You're too weak. The god Stellastone found it hard to advance even a little. There was no way to crush him at all. Long Fei's heart trembled. There's still an even stronger power that hasn't been released. Gu Tongtian had cultivated for more than 490 years. He had spent more than 300 years in seclusion in Outer Space Palace. What kind of place was the Outer Space Palace? Others might not know, but Long Fei was very clear that it was a sky battleship. The sky battleship itself was a huge secret treasure. If there were any foreign secret skills or skills inside, it would be reasonable for it to be alive with strong defensive armors. Gu Tongtian had trained a kind of secret manual that was left behind on the sky battleship over the past 300 years. This was also a fortuitous opportunity that he had obtained. The secret manual said, Undying, possessing undying defensive power. Once released, he would be an unrivaled existence, and the power of the gods' martial continent would not be able to do anything to him. This sort of immortal deity technique was not about the immortality of the body, nor about the immortality of one's longevity, but rather, it was about defense. It could also be used as an attack, and could be used to reconstruct the primordial spirit. It was also because of this technique that Gu Tongtian stepped into the super realm of the 8th level of the flying immortal stage. It was also because this set of skills made him extremely certain that the secret treasure of Long Clan must have a sacred art that allowed them to live forever. This was because the dragon race had also come from a foreign realm, and their lifespan meant everything. Western Devil Lord's eyes were also sinister as his heart thumped. Such powerful strength. This power is completely not from God's martial continent. Seems like this Gu Tongtian is much stronger than I imagined. It was also at this time. The other 4 great elders of the Outer Space Palace stood in the air behind Gu Tongtian. Senior brother, are you all right? Senior brother, do you want us to take action? 4. They were all super powerhouse of the flying fairyland, the peak of this world, an extremely powerful existence. They were also the strongest existences in the Outer Space Palace. A sinister, cold smile hung on his face as he said, There's no need. I was just playing around with this brat just now, giving him a bit of hope so that he can fall into even greater despair. Haha. Gu Tongtian looked at the nearby Long Fei and said, Long Fei, just now I was just playing with you. You're not the only one with a fortuitous encounter in this world. Me too. I will let you experience it now. My power. Buzz. A giant skull inexplicably appeared on Gu Tongtian's body. This kind of power was extremely unfamiliar. Yan Huang ancestor said, The power of a foreign realm. The power that does not belong to this world seems like. Yan Huang ancestor sank in a deep thought, and after a few seconds he shouted suddenly, "Undead power!" It was also at this time. Yinner suddenly said, "Not dying, not dying." It was the power of the undying emperor. This time, Big Brother Long Fei. She didn't dare think about it. He didn't dare to use his own blood veins power to look at Long Fei's future. He didn't dare see what would happen next, because she was afraid. Long Fei said, "Ancestor, where do we break it?" The Yin Huang ancestor shook his head and said, "I don't know, this power is too strong. I can't think of a way to break it. The power of the gods' martial continent is simply not enough. Your current cultivation is still lacking." Under the heavens, they were nothing but ants. Long Fei forcefully used the power of the God's Bone Taboo and the God's Stella Stone to crush Gutong Tian, but in reality, his power was still restricted by his level as well. Whether it was the power of the God's Bone Taboo or the power of the God's Stella Stone, they were both restricted by their realms, unable to unleash their true strength. It can't be solved. Long Fei's heart trembled. This father doesn't believe it. His body moved. The God's Stella Stone pressed forward again. "Come, use your strongest power." Boom! The silver-green light on the God's Stella Stone shone brightly. Long Fei clenched the God's Stella Stone tightly and fiercely slashed down. Too slow. Chua! After slashing through the air, Gu Tongtian easily dodged the attack. Moreover, he coldly laughed and said with disdain, "Long Fei, I said it before, you are too weak to even take a single blow." Buzz! Gu Tongtian's illusionary body moved and landed in front of Long Fei. One palm pressed against Long Fei's chest, and the immortal deity technique that he cultivated surged out. An incomparably huge skull rushed out, and an enormous penetrating force exploded out from the center of his palm. Buzz! Rumble! Rumble! Long Fei's body caved in, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His chest felt as if it was splitting apart, and the 6 wings on his back all broke as an enormous pain burrowed into Long Fei's body. Pain. Incomparable pain. It was violently struggling, wanted to break through, but the 9 layers were not enough for him to break through. The 6 wings were broken. Long Fei's face turned ashen. Gu Tongtian laughed coldly and said, "You're as weak as an ant. So what if I become a demon? It's still the same. Now, I want to beat you back to your original form." Boom, 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 boom. He grabbed Long Fei and smashed him in the chest with his palm. The undying energy from the bones rushed into Long Fei's body. The power in his body was like a madman as he struggled violently, like a child struggling in its embryo. An unbearable struggle. Long Fei spat out blood. He basically did not have any strength to resist. At this moment, Xiao Wandao took a step forward. "Young master." Without waiting for him to even get close, the aura coming from Gu Tongtian's body directly crushed the space between his eyebrows, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood and heavily fall down. "I'll fight it out with you." The sword in the black knife's hand moved. At this moment, Song Qianqian, Aoya, Linglong, Sun Datu, and the rest all rushed forward. Gu Tongtian laughed coldly. "A bunch of ants." Chapter 10:29, 10 seconds, level 10. Chapter 10:29, 10 seconds, level 10. The power of a joint attack. Boom! Dao Feng took the lead and released the power of everyone's attack. However, Gu Tongtian swung out his sleeve as he sent a palm strike. Boom! All of them were crushed and heavily smashed down. Their bodies were severely injured, and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Long Fei was not a match for him, so it was even more so for them. "Ha ha! A bunch of trash. Long Fei, with just you people, how can you fight against me? In this god's martial continent, I am the sky, I am the god. Fight against me? Ha ha ha! You don't even have the slightest qualification to do so." Gu Tongtian said in disdain. As he spoke, he still struck Long Fei in the chest with his palm. His chest split open as fresh blood spurted out. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei gasped for breath. Black blood gushed out of his mouth. His body could not take it anymore, and he was beaten back to his original form little by little. Enchanted was beaten back to its original form. Moreover, Long Fei's devil body was already on the verge of collapsing. There was no longer any reaction. Following that, the power of the God's Bone taboo also quieted down, and all of its power was suppressed. It was as if it had never appeared. Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei returned to his real face appearance. The Overlord's colossal armor was smashed to smithereens. The defenses on his body were also blasted into smithereens. The 14th dragon ancestor could not rush over. They had not returned to the dragon domain, so they were unable to activate their true strength. To them, returning to the dragon domain could truly be considered as returning. Facing the soaring sky realm, there was nothing they could do. Watching Long Fei get blasted apart caused them incomparable discomfort, but there was nothing he could do. The same went for the 3 giant demons. Their cultivations, to a powerhouse of the soaring sky realm, were also unable to withstand a single blow. Other than the level 10,000 Hanba, Long Fei no longer had any other way out, unless Long Fei could open the 10th level of the God's Bone taboo. Boom! With a loud sound, Long Fei fell from the sky and crashed heavily onto the ground. A huge crater was created from the explosion, and the ground beneath cracked open. Long Fei lied in the middle of the crater and looked up at the proud Gu Tong Tian in the sky. The corner of Han Ba's mouth quirked upwards as he revealed a cold smile. Now you remember me? Didn't you not need me? Ha ha! I was crushed like a dog. I truly feel sorrowful for you, huh? Han Ba laughed coldly. He had always been disdainful towards Long Fei, even when he had become Long Fei's war pet, because he was the overlord of all the Divinity S, and even so many Powerhouse S couldn't do anything to him. But now, he had been captured by someone from the lower realms and turned into a war pet. Seeing Long Fei being trampled, he laughed out loud in excitement. Long Fei said, "Come out and kill him." Hanba shrugged and said, "Not interested." Then, he no longer cared about it. Long Fei said, "If I die, you will also disappear. Do you want to die with me?" Hanba said, "You are underestimating me too much, brat. I am not interested in these kind of flying fairyland trash, but if you want to forcibly release me, that is fine too. The first one I will kill is you, huh? Are you still letting me out?" Long Fei could control and release Hanba. However, with a loyalty level of 0.00001%, it meant that as long as he released it, he would rebel. Long Fei hesitated. Hanba was his last trump card. Once he fought, if he betrayed them, Long Fei would die, everyone around him would die, and the entire God's martial continent would die. This was because Hanba was the god of drought. He would turn the God's martial continent into a hell. Long Fei was furious beyond belief and said, "Hanba, stop being so arrogant. Sooner or later, I will beat you to death." Hanba sneered, "Sooner or later, I will kill you." Hanba did not make a move. Long Fei did not dare to release him. If Long Fei wanted to activate the power of the 10th level of the God's Bone taboo, he would definitely not be able to do so right now. Gu Tong Tian sneered and said, "Long Fei, are you feeling good now? I've said it before, you're not fit to fight me. If only you would obediently be an obedient dog, then you wouldn't have to suffer so much." Gu Tong Tian slowly descended, walked forward step by step, and stood in front of Long Fei. Seeing that Long Fei's entire body was bleeding, he said, "The result of disobedience is buzz." Gu Tong Tian grabbed the air and grabbed a disciple of the logistics department. Kacha! The head exploded. A brother fell down and died. Long Fei's heart trembled. With a crazed roar, he said, "Gu Tong Tian, I'll screw your ancestors." Ah! He roared in his heart. Long Fei moved his body and said, "I fused 8th grade immortal foundation." Buzz! The power in his body surged, and his immortal foundation disappeared. In that instant, Long Fei's cultivation of the 9th stage of the Yuan Xian broke through its shackles, and the experience bars rushed up like floodgates, piece by piece. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently, Your cultivation is at the first level of the Unity Immortal realm. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the second level of the Immortal Fusion stage. Ding! 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 System beep continued to soar madly. Long Fei's cultivation leveled up. Level 1 per second. Furthermore, the moment he leveled up, all the pain in his body recovered and the power of the fitted realm surged crazily into his body. At this moment, so everyone was dumbfounded, especially Gutan Tian. He frowned, looking at the energy on Long Fei's body, changing 1 second at a time, at the realm of 1 second, staring straight at him. He had never seen such a speed of breakthrough. Could it be that his breakthrough came with the anger in his heart? I don't understand. He didn't understand at all. The system was still ringing. Long Fei's realm was still constantly increasing. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 8th level of the Unity Immortal realm. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 9th level of the Unity Immortal realm. Level +1 release. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level. Level 1 Immortal. Because Long Fei had fused with a 9th grade Immortal Foundation God Soul herb. When he had broken through the Immortal realm, he had not been shackled at all, and had broken through in an instant. The power of the Immortal realm crazily flowed into Long Fei's body. In 10 seconds, all 15 billion experience points were used up. Level 10. From the 9th stage of the Yuan Xian to the 1st stage of the Immortal stage, it was exactly level 10. Long Fei's body recovered to its peak state, and he slowly stood up. He stared at Gu Tongtian and said word by word, "Those who touch my brother die." As soon as he finished, Long Fei took a step forward. While Gu Tongtian and everyone else was still in shock, Long Fei's speed was astonishing, and with one blow, he knocked Gu Tongtian to the ground. Both of his fists were overflowing with the power of the Immortal realm, and Long Fei also roared out loudly along with it. Gu Tongtian died. Chapter 1030. Long Zhanting, Ascend to the Stage. Chapter 1030. Long Zhanting, Ascend to the Stage. Everything happened too quickly. This was too shocking. The time from the 9th stage of the Yuan Xian to the 1st stage of immortality was 10 seconds. Was this a human? Even Gu Tongtian, who had cultivated for more than 400 years, was a little muddled and could not react in time. Too fierce. And it was also in the instant that he could not react in time that Long Fei leaped away. Not caring about anything else, he only had one thought in his mind: blast him to death. Riding on Gu Tongtian's body, both his fists were like machine gun fire, frantically striking down. Each punch was fiercer than the last. Each punch was more ruthless than the last. Long Fei crazily vented. Even if Gu Tongtian possessed the immortal deity technique, he would still panic a little at this moment. Long Fei's attacks were too fast, and he was using all his might to suppress Gu Tongtian, causing him to be forced into a defensive position. It was too hard. He thought that he could easily crush Long Fei. However, Long Fei became stronger in 10 seconds. Break through 10 stages in a row. Everyone was dumbfounded. 10,000 punches. Boom, boom, boom. 100,000 punches. Boom, boom, boom. A million fists. Boom, boom, boom. S brain just want to kill Gu Tongtian. Kill him, kill him. All sorts of killing sounds kept coming out from Long Fei's mind. Kill him, kill him. Long Fei was just like a machine that was operating at a very fast speed. In just a few short minutes, under the attack of a million fists, the speed was so fast that it was suffocating, and one could not see it clearly. Gu Tongtian's face became a bloody mess. Are you qualified now? Who the F ** K is the trash now? Who the F ** K is an ant? Boom, boom, boom. They were still continuously striking, and the amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was also rapidly decreasing by 5 billion. Under the bombardment of a million fists, he only had a little more than a few billion left, with only a third remaining. He was scared. It was the first time in hundreds of years that he was afraid. Long Fei was a madman. Gu Tongtian also shouted, "Junior brother!" Boom, boom, boom. The four great elders who were floating in mid-air finally reacted from the shock. With faces filled with shock, they shouted out at the same time, "Long Fei, stop right there!" Next, for auras of the soaring sky realm heavily struck down, striking Long Fei's sea of consciousness and mind. Long Fei's eyes darkened. The speed of his fist did not decrease at all as he laughed sinisterly. "Gu Tongtian, even if I die, I will drag you down with me as a burden. Ha ha." Boom, boom. Pressure was useless against Long Fei. He didn't slow down at all, and instead became even crazier. Gu Tongtian said loudly, "Get him away from me. Get him away." At the crotch. Wet and scared to pee. The four great elders struck Long Fei with their pressure again and again. Long Fei looked fine, but the sea of consciousness in his body churned, as if his internal organs were going to be torn apart. It was extremely uncomfortable, but he wanted to kill Gu Tongtian no matter what. Because he had touched Long Fei's bottom line. Because he killed his brother. Make your move. Get him off me. The defensive power around Gu Tongtian's body became weaker and weaker. His immortal deity technique's defensive power was slowly collapsing, and it was cracked by Long Fei, this madman's over 1,000,000 fists. He knew that he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. If he did not escape Long Fei's attack, he would die. Once he was away from Long Fei's attack, he would have 10% of a second to breathe, and he would be able to instantly kill Long Fei. No matter how strong the power of the immortal realm was, it was not a match for it. He had been completely crushed by Long Fei. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been in such a sorry state. The four elders landed at the same time and instantly rushed to Long Fei's side. The four of them attacked at the same time. How powerful were the four powers of the soaring sky realm? At this time, the 8 golden dragons moved and instantly entered Long Fei's body. Long Fei's body flashed with a golden light. Golden Dragon Protector. Boom, boom, boom. As the golden light disappeared, the 8 golden dragons all spat out blood in incomparable pain. However, they did not give up and still protected Long Fei with their lives, roaring, "Come again. Are the four of you trash? Hurry up. Give me. Ugh." Without waiting for him to say anything, Long Fei punched Gu Tongtian in the mouth, causing him to lose all his teeth. He spurted out a mouthful of blood and roared like thunder. "Long Fei, I'm going to kill you." Another dozen punches landed. He swallowed back everything he said. The four great elders attacked again, but Long Fei didn't even spare them a glance. His target was Gu Tongtian and wanted to blast him to death. No matter what, the golden dragon endured the pain as Long Fei attacked crazily. The amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was decreasing. Long Fei became more and more excited, and the more ferocious he was, the more afraid Gu Tongtian became. He shouted out to the Western Devil Lord in the sky, "Master of Magic Tribe, did you forget about our agreement? Kill, kill, kill him." Master of Magic Tribe was also shocked. His heart was shocked by Long Fei. Long Fei, this madman, is too crazy. If Gu Tongtian was killed, would he be able to defend against it alone? This was an unknown number. And then Western Devil Lord made a choice in an instant as he dispersed the devilish flames in the sky. He roared and said, "Long Fei, calm down a little." Crack! A loud sound echoed out. Western Devil Lord descended from the sky. At this moment, Green Dragon Ancestor roared out, "Return to your positions and turn into defense to protect boss." They were no match for the powerhouse of the flying fairyland. They could only help Long Fei defend against the incoming attacks. Once the Western Devil Lord's attack landed, Long Fei would simply not be able to withstand it. The 6 dragon ancestors entered Long Fei's body. Western Devil Lord's power also came crashing down in an instant. Rumble! A loud sound echoed out. Long Fei was sent flying. In an instant, Long Fei crawled up from the ground and once again charged forward. His body was like a bolt of lightning, and the amount of blood on top of his head was only left with 800 million. God's Martial Continent's #1 boss. You must kill him. Buzz. A barrier blocked Long Fei's path. Long Fei crashed into the barrier, causing the barrier to crack. Western Devil Lord's face also darkened. At this moment, Guton Tian, who had crawled up from the ground, took a deep breath, his eyes bloodshot as he stared at Long Fei. At this moment, he had already recovered, and the fear in his heart had only needed a single thought to force it out. Guton Tian said in a heavy tone, Long Fei, go to hell. Buzz. Guton Tian was thoroughly enraged. He had never been in such a sorry state before. His heart was filled with killing intent. At the same time he rushed out, the 4 great elders encircled him, and the Western Devil Lordess also charged forward. In the sky and on the ground, Long Fei had no way out. In dire straits, Long Fei was only at the first stage of the immortal stage of the 6 great flying fairylandess, so he was not even a match for them. However, now that things had come to this, Long Fei would go for broke, and he would not let the world get away with it. He coldly laughed in his heart. Han Ba, didn't you want to destroy the world? I'll give you a chance. Long Fei died. Those around him would die. Rather than getting killed by them, it would be better to just release Han Ba and fight. Just as Long Fei was about to release Han Ba, the sky darkened and a bolt of lightning struck down. At the same time, a black-robed middle-aged man stood in front of Long Fei and took off his cape, revealing a face full of runes. Gu Tongtian's eyes darkened. Long Zhanting. Chapter 10:31. Fatty Resurrection. Revive the battle armor. Chapter 10:31. Fatty Resurrection. Revive the battle armor. Gu Tongtian would never forget this face of his, especially that pair of eyes. Those eyes were gloomy and filled with a domineering aura. It was terrifying. However, Gu Tongtian was puzzled. He had obviously sent Long Zhanting into the abyss, and no one could survive there. Long Zhanting. These 3 words resounded in the air and shook the entire God Emperor city. Who is Long Zhanting? Surnamed Long? Is that related to Long Fei? Is that someone from the Long family? It's possible, but so what if he was a helper from the Long family? Could they still be a match for Master Gu Tongtian and the other 6 great flying fairylands powerhouse? It's just adding another corpse. You're right. All sorts of discussions broke out in the God Emperor city. The name Long Zhanting was simply too foreign to them, and not a single person knew of it. Even the elders of the Palace Question of God S did not know of this name. However, the moment Gu Tongtian said the 3 words Long Zhanting, Long Fei was stunned. He looked at the tall and big back that was blocking him like an iron giant. Long Fei did not call out. The word father seemed to have the power of millions of kilograms, making him unable to call out for him. Or perhaps it was that kind of strange feeling which he had never called out before, making Long Fei unable to say it out loud. However, this unfamiliarity made Long Fei feel a sense of familiarity. On top of God's Soul Mountain, there was this figure that had borne through everything for him. In his days, although Long Fei did not see his appearance clearly, his figure was the same. Xiao Wandao, an elderly in green, stood up and said respectfully, Master. Long Zhanting looked at Gu Tongtian and said, Gu Tongtian, do you still remember me? Gu Tongtian disdainfully replied, I didn't think that you were still alive. I really didn't think of that. I thought you were the prophet's son, but it looks like you aren't, but head of the dragons. The tomb of the draconic body has already been opened. You father and son should be able to open any one of these dragon domain S, right? In that case, it doesn't matter if any of you die, does it? Long Zhanting? Long Zhanting laughed coldly and said, Gu Tongtian, come at me if you dare. He didn't say much. Come if you have the guts. Gu Tongtian's brows tightened. He couldn't see through Long Zhanting right now, especially the aura coming from his body. He couldn't see through it at all. In that instant, the corner of Gu Tongtian's eyes lightly glanced at Western Devil Lord. At this moment, buzz, buzz, the pressure of the 2 violent flying immortal peak realm was released, forming 2 gigantic prehistoric beasts. With a roar in the air, they rushed towards Long Zhanting like lightning. They were the peak powerhouse S of the gods' martial continent. No one could withstand the combined pressure of the two of them at the same time. Everyone was shocked. Old Master, be careful. Long Fei was also shocked. Taking a step forward, he could not help but shout out, "Father, watch out." He suddenly shouted out. There was nothing to stop him. From the bottom of his heart, Long Fei really looked forward to having a father. And when he found out that Xiu Wandao, an elderly in green, were arranged by his father to protect him, he wanted to see his father even more. Long Zhanting looked up and smiled. He did not move an inch. The two mighty auras came crashing down. Long Zhanting's expression did not change. There were no energy fluctuations coming from his body, as though he had not been crushed at all. Gu Tongtian's eyes darkened. He was very clear in his heart about how powerful these two auras were. Neither of them could withstand it, nor could the powerhouse of the flying fairyland. Western Devil Lord was also shocked as he thought to himself, I never thought that God's martial continent would hide such an expert. Long Family is truly a hiding place. Boom, boom. With another change in strength, a huge pressure once again pressed down from both Gu Tongtian and Western Devil Lord. And this time, it was even more ferocious than before. Boom, rumble, rumble, asterisk, the air exploded. A strong wave of energy smashed onto Long Zhanting's body, causing the uneven ground to become extremely flat. Long Fei was forced to retreat due to the strong force. Powerful, an incomparable pressure. Who could resist it? Long Zhanting raised both his eyes and laughed coldly. Gu Tongtian, is that all you've got? As soon as he finished, Long Zhanting's eyes shook, his fingers moved, and an index finger pierced through the air. Break! Space itself shattered. The two auras shattered into pieces and were crushed by a bizarre power. Gu Tongtian retreated a few steps and spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei had seen it clearly, and because of this, a huge damage figure of 100 million floated up above his head. It was incomparably terrifying. The same was true for the Western Devil Lord. Even his mind was churning, unable to withstand such a powerful force. Just one move. Not only did he drop their oppressive slay, he had also heavily injured them. This power, it was a complete mess. Too fierce. The two strongest people in the gods' martial continent. Their pressure had been broken in one move. Long Zhanting laughed coldly and said, Gu Tongtian, continue. Gu Tongtian's face was gloomy. Waves of shock were stirred in his heart as he stared at Long Zhanting. In a short span of over a dozen years, what exactly happened to him? And how did he become so powerful? Why? He couldn't figure it out. However, the anger in Gu Tongtian's heart was aroused, and he shouted out, Let me see how strong you are, junior brother. Boom, boom, boom. 6 consecutive, thunderous roars rang out with incomparable intensity. Powerhouse of the 6 great flying fairyland. The 6 people standing at the peak of God's martial continent. The 6 of them joined forces. It formed into a strong pressure. Its power was like the ocean, like a mountain, and it was as powerful as the heaven and earth, pressuring Long Zhanting. He was indescribably strong. Long Zhanting's expression did not change at all. Under the black robe, his right hand grabbed out. Shwa! He grabbed the dead fatty. He raised his eyes and looked at the spot where the fatty's heart had been pierced and muttered an incantation. Then, a strange rune appeared on his right hand, which was like a tadpole, quickly swimming to the fatty's heart. The rune flashed a ray of light. At the same time, 6 powerful thunderbolts violently crashed down. The clothes on Long Zhanting's body fluttered, and he suddenly roared out, Fatty, holy armor fairy vein, level 11, open for me. He directly blocked the fatty's body. Very strange. However, when the 6 streams of flying fairyland's power crushed down, they were all absorbed by fatty's body. The runes on his body shone even brighter. The 6 types of power were like a forceful electric shock. It landed heavily on his chest. Buzz! Boom! The fatty's body suddenly caved in, and with a flick of his wrist, Fat Min Chin let out a deep breath, and came back to life from hell. Her face regained its color. The runes on the heart slowly entered the wound, and the wound began to heal as well. At this moment, the holy armor fairy vein in his body had completely mutated. It was different from before. Long Fei was dumbstruck and muttered, "Damn, guardian angel battle armor. Resurrection armor." Chapter 1032, Forbidden Techniques, Death God's Contract. Chapter 1032, Forbidden Techniques, Death God's Contract. His immortal foundation was only at level 10. However, using the power of the 6 flying fairyland, he activated the power of the holy armor fairy vein at the 11th layer of Fat Men Shun, and then a mutation in the immortal foundation. His divine armor began to change as well. He immediately became a guardian armor, possessing the power to revive. It was incomparably terrifying. Long Fei was extremely shocked and thought to himself, if it can evolve into a reverse injury armor, then it's possible to evolve into a resurrection armor. Ha ha ha. Fatty, is this the power that the holy armor King Kong is hiding? Every King Kong had its own special power. There was a powerful force lurking within their bodies, but they needed an opportunity to activate it. Li Yuanba's giant spirit body. The power of the Holy Spirit of the Sky Spirits was their special power. The moment the fatty was sent flying by the Supreme God, it was Long Zhanting who brought him into the special space and pressed him down by the 5-fingered mountain. From then on, he saw the holy armor fairy vein that the Fat Men Shun possessed special abilities. He looked dead. However, his holy armor fairy vein had always been protecting him and had not given up. Using the strongest power of the flying fairyland to break open the shackles of the holy armor fairy vein in Fatty's body, its special ability was activated. Resurrection. Just one of them. Huff, huff, huff. I'm still alive. Huh. I'm not dead yet. This fatty is not dead yet. Ha. Fat Min Chen touched his chest. His wounds had already healed. He was so excited that he started to dance with his hands and feet, looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, I'm fine, I's fine, haha. Their strength is only SOSO, ha." Long Fei was also incomparably excited when he saw this. He was happier than anyone else that Fatty was still alive. Long Zhanting slightly said, "If you have nothing to do, then hurry up and leave, otherwise you'll really die later." Fat Min Shun was startled. He looked at Long Zhanting and said, "Uncle, why is it you? You have locked me up at the foot of 5 Fingers Mountain, and I have yet to settle this with you. Are you with them?" Long Zhanting ignored the Fat Men Shun, because the power of Gu Tongtian's group of 6 helped Long Zhanting to pull the fatty back from hell. This made them very unhappy. 6 streams of energy surged. Rumble. Gu Tongtian roared out, "Let's see how you can block me this time." Long Zhanting, go and die. Fat Min Chen's eyes shook. He turned around and looked at Gu Tongtian and the other 2, then looked at Long Zhanting and said, "You are not with them. Your name is Long. Are you the eldest father? Damn it, Gu Tongtian, you dare to touch boss's boss. Damn it, I'll kill you." Fat Min Shun was born fearless. If making a move on his boss didn't work, then making a move on his boss wouldn't work. While speaking, he was about to pounce towards Long Zhanting, but he was only knocked away by one of Long Zhanting's forces and shouted out, "Don't come here to die." And then his aura surged and his robes made explosive noises. Looking at the pressure of the heavens, Long Zhanting's gaze darkened as he held his hands up to the sky and shouted, "Come if you dare." Boom! The powerful force crushed down once again. Long Zhanting's body sank slightly. His robes had all been torn apart and his upper body was naked. Countless scars covered his entire body like centipedes. Long Fei's gaze tightened. "Father, what exactly did you experience?" Yi Zichen moved his palms. Boom! Break for me. Waves of power rushed out from his palm and shattered the suppressive force that was like a curtain in the sky. Long Zhanting let out a furious roar. The veins on his body bulged. His strength surged out like a raging sea. Boom! 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 The 4 elders were sent flying as they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Gu Tongtian was also forced to retreat, with blood flowing out. The same was true for the Western Devil Lordess. Their minds were about to be shattered, and they were feeling extremely uncomfortable. The pressure from a six-great peak powerhouse was broken through by one person. Long Zhanting did not move from his original position. His face, aura, and strength did not change at all. Strong performance. Long Fei was stunned. To be able to crush six-peak powerhouse S, even a level 9 flying immortal peak realm, would be incapable of such a feat. What kind of power was this? The Yin Huang ancestor hesitated for a moment before replying, "The power of life." Long Fei was startled. He felt that something was amiss and said, "Ancestor, please explain to me exactly what is life energy." "It's the power of burning one's life, borrowing it from the god of death. This is a forbidden technique, and once released, one's lifespan will be shortened quickly." The power of life. Using his own life to exchange for power. Hearing Yin Huang ancestor's explanation, Long Fei's face changed. Looking at his father's back, he could not help but burst into tears, clenching his fists tightly, his nails digging into his flesh, causing blood to drip down. Long Zhanting's eyes were filled with contempt as he coldly sneered. "Gu Tongtian, do you still want to continue? Do you still want to kill me? Do you still want to kill my son? Ha ha ha! With your current strength, are you even qualified?" Heavily crushed, Gu Tongtian's mind trembled. He could not see through Long Zhanting. The more it was like this, the more scared he became. At this time, Western Devil Lord shook his head at him. His mind was almost unable to endure the impact, and if he were to do it again, his mind would be broken. He didn't want to leave his life here. The four elders also had ugly expressions on their faces as they were severely injured. Gu Tongtian shouted, "Long Zhanting, you can consider yourselves lucky today. Long Fei, remember this. There will be a day when I will kill you and your Nantian region will be wiped out." Ha! While they were talking, Gu Tongtian shouted, "Return to Outer Space Palace." His speed was incredibly fast. Before anyone could react, he had already disappeared into the horizon. Fat Man Shan was stunned for a moment, then said, "Don't let them go. Take advantage of his illness and kill him. This grandson has bullied us so much, we can't let him off easy." Fatty wanted to give chase. Long Fei roared out, stopping the fatty in his tracks. He rushed to Long Zhanting's side and supported his father, whispering, "Father, why are you doing this? Why are you making a deal with the death god?" Long Zhanting was startled at first, but then laughed lightly. "Xiao Fei, I can't hide it from you. Seems like you have grown even faster than I imagined. Even Gu Tongtian and the others could not tell, but you." Cough, cough. He coughed loudly. Long Zhanting's face suddenly became incomparably pale, but his face was still full of smiles, and he said, "Don't worry about me. Now get out of here." Long Zhanting could not take it anymore. Long Fei's heart was bleeding. He said, "Blood Dragon Ancestor, Patriarch Sea Dragon, take all the brothers away. We have to get out of here." If Gu Tongtian was discovered, none of them would be able to escape. Chapter 1033, Long Fei Rise. Chapter 1033, Long Fei, Rise God's martial continent in a certain valley. The demon beast lay prostrate on the ground, shivering. Within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers, there were no demon beast. The flying beast dared to make any sounds. Long Zhanting spat out a mouthful of black blood, his face turning as pale as paper. "Father, old master." Long Fei let out a sigh. Looking at Long Zhanting's painful expression, it was as if his heart was pierced by a steel needle. Long Zhanting smiled faintly. "I'm fine. I'm not dead yet, and the time limit is not up yet. Xiao Fei, listen to me. If Gu Tongtian wants your open dragon domain, he wants to get his hands on the sacred art and the dragon race's 10,000 years of lifespan." Long Fei did not know about this. He only thought that Gu Tongtian wanted to get the secret treasure of Long Clan. Long Fei immediately replied, I understand this child will definitely not go to open dragon domain. I will exhaust them to death. No, Long Zhanting coughed and said, you must open it within 2 years, and the faster the better. You currently have the 14th dragon ancestor in your body, so they must return to their original positions in order to obtain the power that belongs to them. There's no time. Xiao Fei, the dragon clan has no time, and the Long family has no time either. While they were talking, Long Zhanting's brows shook, and he shouted out, Fire dragon, come out. Water dragon, appear. Spirit dragon, come out. Boom, boom, boom. Dragon ancestors rushed out one after another from Long Zhanting's body and quietly floated in midair. At this moment, the demon beast within millions of kilometers of the mountain range trembled in fear and didn't even dare to breathe. 32 dragon ancestors. The number was more than twice that of Long Fei, and every dragon ancestor's power was at peak realm. They were only missing returning to the dragon domain to get their original power. At this moment, Article 32, the dragon ancestor, looked at Long Fei as he stood up and said, Boss, Green Dragon Ancestor was excited. All of you are here. Ha ha, all out. All 46 dragon patriarchs have been gathered. All that's left is a sky tyrant dragon. Ha ha ha. 47 dragon patriarchs, 47 war generals, and the dragon clan's strongest 47 dragon warrior. Inside Long Fei's body, the dragon ancestor began to boil with excitement. Long Zhanting slightly said, Xiao Fei, you have to hurry open dragon domain. The safety of the dragon tribe, the safety of Long family, and the safety of God's martial continent all depends on you. The storm had arrived. In less than 2 years' time. Time was too short. A heavy burden pressed on a Long Fei's shoulders like a mountain. Seeing his father like this, Long Fei nodded and said, This child knows. This child will definitely rush to open dragon domain. Long Zhanting smiled faintly and said, That's good. I believe you can definitely do it. Before you find dragon domain, you must return to Nantian region. God's martial continent, 5 great regions. Immortal domain, dragon domain, dark domain, savage domain. Even Nantian region did not have any powerhouse born for hundreds of years. He was not born on the surface, but the Nantian region is hiding many secrets. Through all these years, I suspect that the Nantian region is the dragon domain and the dragon race is the Long family. However, I could not find the open dragon domain's method, so I can only rely on you. All these years, Long Zhanting had been investigating everything related to the dragon race and Long family. The calamity of the dragon race. The great calamity that had happened when the powerhouse disappeared happened to be separated by 33 million years. He couldn't help but suspect that the Long family was the reincarnation of the dragon clan. He wanted to transform into a human and avoid the storm. However, the storm was still coming. Even if he transformed into a human, he wouldn't be able to dodge it. However, this was only Long Zhanting's guess. The dragon ancestors in his body were the same as Long Fei's. They didn't tell him anything. Long Fei nodded his head. I will remember, Long Zhanting said. Also, Savage Domain, you must be careful of the place. Savage Domain's domain treasure is a teleportation gate, and there's a channel that links to other realms in God's martial continent. You have to keep your eyes on Savage Domain, because it is not only Gu Tong Tian who is staring at the Dragon Ancestor's secret treasure, but countless other outer space powerhouse are also staring at secret treasure of Long Clan. Compared to Gu Tong Tian's Palace Question of God, Savage Domain is even more of a threat. Something has happened to Nantian region. I'm worried that it's caused by powerhouse. Don't go back to Nantian region until you find him, understand? Long Fei nodded his head. I will remember. All right. Long Zhanting let out a long breath and said, That's good. I believe that you will definitely be able to solve all the mysteries of the God's martial continent, the Dragon Clan and the Long family. I believe that you will be able to solve all the mysteries of the entire God's martial continent. The God's martial continent had too many secrets. Why was it that no one had been able to break through for tens of millions of years? He was asking a question related to the God Emperor Fairyland. Long Zhanting did not know. Why would the dragon race enter the gods' martial continent and not another plane? Why did they escape from the divinity? 3,300,000 once a year. Why this number? God's martial continent was not as simple as he looked. What exactly was the relationship between the dragon race and Long family? All of these troubled Long Fei. As long as he opened the door to the dragon domain, all the mysteries would be solved. Long Fei asked, "Father, where's Mother?" He really wanted to know. It was rumored that Long Zhanting had come to a mortal domain to find his mother. So where was he now? Long Zhanting's face sank and said, "Regarding your mother's matter, when the time comes, I will tell you. I can only tell you now, your mother is still alive." "All right, Xiao Fei, you have 2 years, and the heavy burden of Long family rests on your shoulders." Long Zhanting said slightly, his aura growing weaker and weaker. "Also, go back and tell your grandfather that I'm an unfilial son." "I'm sorry." Finished. Long Zhanting's aura had completely disappeared. His body turned cold. Also at this moment, Long Fei's heart crumbled as he hysterically shouted, "Father!" At this moment, Long Zhanting's body suddenly disappeared into thin air. Yin Huang ancestor slightly said, "Don't worry, your father is still not dead yet. To be exact, he is not really dead yet. He should be in another space now." Death space. The pain in Long Fei's heart receded as he said, "Ancestor, is there any way to save father?" The Yin Huang ancestor shook his head and said, "Your father signed a contract with the god of death. Unless we kill the god of death, he will only be able to burn his life force one step closer to death. Long Fei, if you want to save your father, there is only one way, to become stronger. Everything that your father has done was for you, for the Long family. Now that he is no longer here, you have to shoulder the heavy burden of becoming a Long family. You have to take his place and complete the path that he has yet to complete. Long Fei, let's rise." Chapter 1034. Entering the Savage Domain. Chapter 1034. Entering the Savage Domain at night. Starlight filled the sky. It was as if diamonds were embedded in a dark curtain as they shone brightly. Long Fei stood on top of the mountain and looked up at the night sky. When his father appeared, he didn't have the time to feel his father's love. According to Yin Huang ancestor, his father had taken a step further from death. 10-odd years ago, when Long Zhanting fell into the abyss, he signed a contract with Death God at that moment. The strange rune on his face was the Death God runes. Only those who had signed a contract with the Grim Reaper would have that rune. Every time he went into closed-door cultivation, he would be in the death space. Every time he appeared, if he wanted to unleash power beyond his own, he would have to burn his life to call out power to the Grim Reaper. In God's Soul Mountain, with one heavy injury, he was able to endure 10,000 lightning strikes and enter the death space. This time again, he used his powerful strength to help Long Fei block everything. After these 2 heavy injuries, Long Zhanting's lifespan was almost up in the death space. One of them was dressed in a black robe. Beneath the black robe was an empty void, and it was impossible to see his appearance clearly. His voice was gloomy and thick. "You still have one more chance. Once, you will be my slave." Long Zhanting's body recovered as he said, "I will abide by our promise. The next time I appear, I hope that Lord Death God will give me his full strength." The Grim Reaper laughed coldly and said, "I will give you everything you want, but shouldn't you give me some of what I want as well?" Before he could finish, without waiting for Long Zhanting's reply, a black mist surged into Long Zhanting's body. He suddenly grabbed, and something that looked like a soul came out from his body. Long Zhanting screamed in pain. The pain of being peeled off was too unbearable. It was incomparable pain. Ah-ha-ha. Ah-ha-ha. The death space burst into wild laughter. For more than 10 years, Long Zhanting had endured pain that ordinary people could not bear. He had never regretted it. Palace question of God. As Gu Tong Tian bathed in the divine pond, if he was present, he would definitely be incomparably shocked, because the amount of blood on top of Gu Tong Tian's head was swiftly recovering. 5 billion HP was fully replenished in less than 2 hours. The depth was astonishing. Huff! Gu Tongtian exhaled deeply. A cold light flashed past his eyes as he said sinisterly, "Long Fei, I will definitely not let you go." His heart was filled with killing intent. Being blasted to death by Long Fei, the scene in his mind made him feel incomparable rage. At this time, Western Devil Lord opened his eyes slightly and said indifferently, "This outer space palace is really a good place. It only took you 4 hours to completely recover." Outer Space Palace was a sky battleship. There were many foreign technology here, and the deity's lake was the same as well. It possessed an extremely powerful regenerative ability. Moreover, he also had the ability to recreate a primordial spirit. Gu Tongtian laughed blandly. "Master of Magic Tribe, Outer Space Palace is but a hair of 9 oxen compared to secret treasure of Long Clan. Wait until that brat Long Fei. We will wait until we get the secret treasures of Dragon Domain to enjoy 10,000 years of longevity. At that time, I won't believe that we can't break through the shackles of God's martial continent." The Western Devil Lord trembled and said, "So you're saying you give up on hunting Long Fei?" Gu Tongtian said, "Without him, we would not be able to find Dragon Domain. Furthermore, he is Long Janting by his side right now. We have yet to figure out what realm his cultivation is at." Thinking about Long Janting, his heart turned cold again. He could not understand who in the gods' martial continent could block the pressure of the 6 of them combined attack. What kind of power did Long Janting obtain? Western Devil Lord also frowned and said, "The energy aura on his body is completely different from that of God's martial continents. You must have had some fortuitous encounters in the years that you disappeared." Gu Tongtian laughed. "Don't worry, when we obtain the Dragon Domain's secret treasure, let alone Long Janting, even if the Long family's most powerful powerhouse stood in front of me all those years ago, I would still be able to kill him. As long as he could obtain the Dragon Domain's secret treasure, as long as he got this, he could change everything." Western Devil Lord looked at Gu Tongtian, his heart feeling even more shocked. "Looks like secret treasure of Long Clan must be a very powerful being." "Oh right, didn't you say that you can reconstruct my descendant's body?" Gu Tongtian laughed. "Very simple. I will help him revive now." This deity's lake possessed incomparable strength. As long as the primordial spirit is here, the body can be reconstructed and resurrected. However, he needed the power of the 8th level of the flying immortal stage, and only he knew this cultivation technique. He placed his primordial spirit into the deity's lake. The deity's lake began to surge and churn, quickly condensing. In just a few seconds, a human form took form, and half an hour passed. "Young Demon Lord, Zhou Lai has resurrected." Zhou Lai's eyes, slightly opened, looked at Western Devil Lord and immediately said excitedly, "Master." Western Devil Lord was also shocked. He looked at Gu Tongtian and said, "Brother Gu is indeed someone with a great ability. This is nothing. Master of Magic Tribe, as long as you and I can obtain the secret treasures of Dragon Domain, the entire God's martial continent would be ours." "Ha ha ha!" Gu Tongtian laughed out loud. Western Devil Lord also laughed out loud. The supreme god that was killed by Long Fei had been revived, and Zhou Lai had also revived. Moreover, he had become even more powerful than before. Early morning. Fat Minshun was the first to get up. Looking around at the silence, he called out, "Boss." At this moment, those who had recovered woke up. Yinner slowly said, "Big brother Long Fei left last night. He told me to tell everyone to hurry to Nantian region today, 2 years later, after you've fully recovered. This is the space ring that Big Brother Long Fei gave me. There are immortal roots and immortal crystals that you need for cultivation inside." Long Fei left behind all his cultivation resources. "The boss has left." "Boss, why didn't you bring me along?" Fat Minshun was depressed. Everyone's gaze turned grim. Everyone's expression sank, feeling very uncomfortable, because they weren't strong enough. Xiao Wandao said, 2 years, we still have 2 years. In our eyes, we must become stronger, stronger than even the heavens. Only then can I help Long Fei share the burden. Everyone clenched their fists tightly. Everyone's heart became incomparably firm. Green Dragon Ancestor, are you sure this is the Dragontail tomb? In a desert, no border visible. This is the savage domain. According to the direction that Green Dragon Ancestor pointed, the Dragontail tomb was in the middle of all the savage domain. It was the first time Long Fei stepped into the savage domain. Green Dragon Ancestor replied, Dragontail tomb is somewhere in the savage domain. As for the exact location, I'm not too sure either. The current savage domain is completely different from the previous savage domain. A completely different world. Boom! Suddenly, a beast suddenly rushed out. With a powerful physique, his fist tore through the air and smashed heavily into Xiang Long Fei. Chapter 1035. The Four Great Vajra Appear. Chapter 1035. The Four Great Vajra Appear. Too fast. The strength was too strong. At this moment, Long Fei actually didn't have time to react. His current cultivation was at the first level of the immortal stage. Even a 9th level demon beast would be able to easily crush him. But now, boom! A fist landed on Long Fei's face, sending him flying. He hit the ground heavily. A deep crater formed on the ground. This power! Long Fei frowned. How strange. This is the savage domain. How can a savage beast be so powerful? Seems like Father is right. Savage domain is not as simple as he looks. In the deep pit, Long Fei slowly stood up, his eyes darkening as he said, faintly, If you want to hit me, I won't hit your face. If you want to touch me, I'll kill you. Chua! When it saw Long Fei stand up again, it became displeased, and with a change in speed, it threw a punch towards Long Fei, who was in the deep pit. Both of Long Fei's fists exploded. His body was as big as a mountain, and he did not wait for the savage beast to attack him. Boom! Smashing straight into the savage beast, he hugged it with both fists. Mountain hit fist. Zhang Xian's hands were like heavy cannons as they struck at the chest of the savage beast. The moment he landed, Long Fei's speed changed. From his vantage point, he struck the savage beast's head. Boom! The head split open. The system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 180,000 experience points for defeating a level 1 barbarian beast, 12,000 power of celestial, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining beast blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the strength of the barbarian beast. Do you wish to fuse it? Long Fei was dumbstruck. Damn, the experience of a level 1 beast is 1.8 million? Isn't this too powerful? At this moment, before the dragon Salyer could devour the beast's blood essence, it was suddenly devoured by the Yin Huang ancestor, and his entire body started to tremble from excitement. The aura of the Chaos Realm. Chaos Realm's presence. I feel it. Ha. This is the aura of the Chaos Realm's demon beast. I have felt it. I have felt it. Yin Huang ancestor was excited like a child. They danced and danced. He continued to speak. Long Fei, Chaos Realm. This barbarian beast is a creature from the Chaos Realm. I'm too familiar with this kind of power aura. I am too familiar with it. Yin Huang ancestor looked like she was about to go crazy. The feeling of wandering outside for millions of years and suddenly feeling the aura of home one day. That feeling was indescribable. Long Fei was actually very puzzled in his heart and said, Ancestor, this is obviously one of the savage domains of one of the 5 great regions of God's martial continent. Why is it Chaos Realm? Is there a mistake? The Yin Huang ancestor firmly said, That's right. That's absolutely right. The savage beast you killed just now was definitely a Chaos Realm's demon beast. It was only a 2nd generation or a 3rd generation demon beast. What do you mean? Long Fei did not understand. The Yin Huang ancestor said, It is the descendant of the Chaos Realm's demon beast. The blood essence of the savage beast is not pure, and its aura is not pure either, but I am sure that its ancestors came from the Chaos Realm. Your father is right. Savage domain is definitely not simple. Perhaps this is the most dangerous place in God's martial continent. The domain treasure of savage domain might very well link to Chaos Realm. Yin Huang ancestor was getting more and more excited. For the first time in his life, he felt that he was so close to the Chaos Realm. This was the first time he was so close to his enemy. Long Fei was also secretly shocked. Are you saying that the Savage Domain's transmission gate has always been open and that the Chaos Realm's powerhouses and the Demon Beast have always been in the Savage Domain? Holy shit, what are they planning on doing? Isn't the rank of the Chaos Realm higher than that of the God's martial continent? What are they planning to do in this lower plane? Could it be? Long Fei thought of the secret treasure of Long Clan, and the space between his eyebrows tightened. He cursed in his heart. F***K. Is there really that many people who are concerned about the secret treasure of Long Clan? Even the people from the Chaos Realm are fighting over it. The Yin Huang ancestor said, the dragon race is a powerful race within the divinity. If someone truly discovers that they have come to the God's martial continent, there will definitely be an outer space powerhouse searching for them. There were still 2 years until the tribulation that occurs once every 33 million years, and at that time, the dragon domain would definitely reappear. If the dragon race couldn't withstand the tribulation, they would be killed. At that time, the secret treasures of the dragon domain became the object of competition among the other powerhouse. Even as long as you have an open dragon domain, those hidden powerhouses that are waiting for an opportunity to make your move will all appear and are all plotting against you. Long Fei, if you can help me kill more savage beasts, especially those generation of savage beasts, I can quickly repair my primordial spirit. At that time, I will let you experience my true strength. Before the dragon domain opens, I will definitely be able to help you. The Yin Huang ancestor's voice carried a hint of begging, because he longed for it. It was the first time he had felt such desire. He longed to return to the Chaos Realm. Long Fei disdainfully said, Damn, ancestor, aren't you looking down on me too much? Your matters are my matters. I promised you that I would help you return to the Chaos Realm, the super powerhouse of the Chaos Realm. Once he finished repairing it, what would happen if he could unleash all of his strength? Long Fei was filled with incomparable anticipation. Yin Huang ancestor was so touched that she was about to cry. She muttered, Long Fei, I will remember this favor. F***CK. Don't make me despise you. Long Fei laughed. Long Fei would need a helper, a powerful helper. At that time, if Yin Huang ancestor's primordial spirit was completely recovered, he would definitely be able to help Long Fei fend it off. Bring it on. Long Fei roared in his heart as he strode into the savage domain. Once the idea dispersed, the idea of the Yin Huang ancestor was also sensing the wild beasts that were lurking in the desert. To the left, Long Fei, it's here. Buzz! With a loud sound, a beast attacked quietly. Its speed was so fast that it made people's hair stand on ends. But this time, with Yin Huang ancestor's warning, Long Fei was not sent flying. His fists moved. He aimed at the incoming force and attacked. I will see just how strong you are. Oh, Buzz! Savage domain in an abyss. A door that was covered in carvings of all sorts of fiendish demons had all sorts of strange runes carved on it. It looked like an extremely powerful array formation, but also seemed like a gigantic magical treasure. The door was motionless, as if standing in the void. The power of the door linked to another world. Suddenly, the door was pushed open and a bright light shone. Then, 2 guards wearing different outfits walked out from the other end of the door. Behind these guards was a huge cage. There were 4 people locked up in the cage. Li Yuanba, Lin Yusheng, Sky Spirit Arhut, for Great Vajra. Chapter 1036, People of the Chaos Realm. Chapter 1036, people of the Chaos Realm. Savage Domain kept a low profile. Because he was low-key, it was easy for him to be forgotten. Also because he was low-key, he appeared even more mysterious. God Emperor Academy had admitted defeat to the young master of the wilderness, Lei Zhong, but they did not contact each other after that incident. Long Fei only knew about the production of ores here. Boom! A third-generation beast fell, and the blood essence that Long Fei had released was instantly absorbed by the Yan Huang ancestor. Long Fei also sat on the ground and panted heavily. Damn, these savage beasts are too savage. Long Fei was panting, his clothes were drenched, and he was sweating profusely. He looked tired. It was tiring, but Long Fei was satisfied. Every time he fought with a savage beast, Long Fei would use his full strength. He did not use any techniques, fought head-on with his strength, or defended against it. After the Yan Huang ancestor had devoured the blood essence of the savage beast, he said, "These are only the third generation of savage beasts. I'm afraid that with your current cultivation, you will not be able to fend them off even if you were to meet them for the first generation." The Yan Huang ancestors said truthfully. The Chaos Realm was much more powerful than the gods' martial continent. Demon beasts were also much stronger. Second generation, third generation savage beasts were at most the wild beasts of Chaos Realm. They didn't even have the qualifications to become demon beastess. It could be seen just how savage the Chaos Realm was. Long Fei muttered, "Is Chaos Realm that strong?" Yan Huang ancestor's eyes flashed with a bright light, and he said, "Of course it's powerful. Chaos Realm is connected to 10,000 realms, and God's martial continent's first stop after flying into the void is Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm is the true heaven for warriors. This is the real powerhouse world. There is absolutely no comparison between the God's martial continent and the God's martial continent." Long Fei was not shocked, but instead had an excited expression as he muttered, "Really? In other words, the Chaos Realm had piles of bosses? Ha ha! It must be great to blow up their chrysanthemums." The thing that Long Fei was thinking of was about to explode. If the game didn't kill bosses, then what was there to play? Buzz. A powerful aura suddenly surged forth. Yan Huang ancestor immediately warned and said, "Long Fei, be careful." Understood. Long Fei responded instantly and leaped out fiercely. Suspended in midair, his eyes were slightly startled as he asked, "Human, a sneak attack?" The place he was standing on earlier was a young man around the age of 20. The man's eyes contained some astonishment, but, however, most of them were filled with contempt and disdain. Seeing Long Fei dodge his attack, his eyes turned sinister and said in disdain, "You can actually dodge my attack? Then let's see how many moves you can dodge." Before he could finish his sentence, his figure disappeared. At this moment, the air shook, and the man's voice appeared in midair. With a palm strike at Xiang Long Fei, he shouted, "Lie down obediently." Bam! Long Fei's figure turned into a ball of white mist and instantly disappeared. It was an avatar. The instant the young man made his move, Long Fei used multiple shadows, while he himself was suspended behind the man's back. The corner of his mouth hooked up. "You just lay down obediently." A palm struck down. Vicious strength. Towards those who had assaulted him, he would definitely not show mercy. The power of the immortal realm gushed out. Buzz! The palm shattered the air, and the palm heavily smashed onto the man's back. Long Fei was secretly pleased in his heart. This palm strike will at least take half your life. However, what he didn't expect was that the man's body only lowered slightly and didn't suffer too much damage. A number floated in the groove above his head. 1 F***CK. Long Fei immediately cursed in his heart. Although the power of this palm was not the full strength of his palm, it was still the power of the immortal realm. What the heck? Moreover, under that palm, Long Fei's palm went numb, as if he had just struck a thick layer of steel. His entire arm shook, as if it were about to dislocate. His own damage was higher than the man's. Are all the warriors in Savage Domain this abnormal? Then why wasn't Lei Zhong this strong back then? Long Fei did not understand. However, the Yin Huang ancestor said, "It's not that you're not strong enough. It's that he has the Chaos Realm's defensive battle armor." The Chaos Realm's defensive armor? Then this person is from the Chaos Realm? Long Fei asked. Yin Huang ancestor replied, "No, he does not have the slightest bit of Chaos Realm chi on him. At most, he is just a disciple of Chaos Realm, or something else." Damn, it's really boring. I thought the Chaos Realm was planning to invade the gods' martial continent. I was thinking the warriors in the Chaos Realm must have a lot of experience. Long Fei muttered. The instant his palm struck down, the man was enraged, his fists moved, he flipped and punched towards Long Fei. "You dog, I will cripple you." Power surged out as an even more powerful strength was released from the young man's body. Long Fei didn't give him any chance. He cupped his fists together. Looking down from above, he could see the sound of heavy thunder bombarding the air. Battle axe style, heavy artillery. Roar, roar. Two roars of the furious ape could be heard in the void as a gigantic axe shadow smashed down on the young man's head. Boom! This time, Long Fei's strength was raised to the peak of the immortal realm. A thick barrier automatically expanded above the young man's head. However, in that instant, cracks appeared on it, and his own body was blasted downwards in midair. A deep crater formed on the ground. The young man's hair was in a bun as it scattered about, becoming incomparably miserable. Staring at Long Fei, who was in the sky, he roared hysterically, "I will kill you!" Anger. Long Fei started to feel a little unwell in his heart. In 2 attacks, the damage is not even 100. This guy's defense is too heaven-defying, but Chaos Realm's defense armor, I like it. His figure moved. Long Fei abruptly dropped and coldly laughed. "I want to kill you too." Chua. He rushed towards the man in the hole. "Blast you." At this moment, Yin Huang ancestor suddenly shouted, "Be careful." Long Fei was startled. He already had a divine reaction, but a wave of overwhelming power came like lightning. No matter how fast his reaction speed was, it was useless. Whoosh whoosh, whoosh whoosh, asters from all directions, powers interweaved like a net. It instantly surrounded Long Fei. Moreover, in that moment, the giant net retracted, and Long Fei, like someone who had fallen into a trap, was immediately lifted. Looking up, there was a spirit treasure floating above his head. That huge net of power was released from this spiritual treasure. The giant net shrank. It firmly bound Long Fei. Long Fei was captured. It was also at this moment that a group of people walked up the mountain. The person leading was a woman with a body armor, but it was very weak. A bikini-like armor. At her crotch was an incomparably savage beast. A savage beast of the first generation. Someone from the Chaos Realm. Chapter 1037, Man of Evolution. Chapter 1037, Man of Evolution. Long Fei was flung into the air. Being tightly bound by Zhang Chong's giant tail, he was unable to move, and the power in his body was also suppressed by a huge power. This power came from a spirit treasure used to release the giant net. Long Fei struggled with all his might to no avail. At this moment, a lady riding a savage beast that resembled a white tiger said coldly, "Stop wasting your energy. You won't be able to struggle free." The Yin Huang ancestor also said, "She is right. This is a spirit treasure of the Chaos Realm. You can't break out of it. The more you struggle out of it, the more tightly you are bound up. In the Chaos Realm, warriors use it to catch their mounts, but who would have thought? They were actually used to capture humans in the gods' martial continent." Long Fei was not happy. "What exactly is this thing?" Yin Huang ancestor said, "Luo Ling Nexus, Chaos Realm, is a very common method to capture mounts." Long Fei said, "Since you said it is an ordinary spiritual treasure, then you must have a way to break it, right?" "No way." Yin Huang ancestor replied, "My primordial spirit has not been completely restored, and I am unable to affect the power of Chaos Realm. If it's the power of this world, I might be able to do it. Long Fei was speechless. Damn you, to think that you're even the so-called heavenly sovereign of the Chaos Realm. Great Emperor-level powerhouse. You're really too embarrassing. Long Fei held his heart as he spoke. When the beautiful woman saw the pained look on Long Fei's face, she could not help but ask coldly, "What happened? Your father's liver hurts." Long Fei gave a disdainful snort and said, "Who are you people? Why are you capturing me?" Not just him. Behind the group of women, there was a huge iron cage with more than a dozen people inside. Just like Long Fei, they had all come to the savage domain to take a risk and were captured by Luo Ling Nexus. The woman didn't have any expression on her face. She didn't answer and just said, "Lock him up." As soon as he finished, one of the elderly ideas beside him moved, controlling Luo Ling Net, and in the end, Long Fei was released. At this moment, the young man who was smashed to the ground by Long Fei rushed forward and fiercely smashed his fist into Long Fei's face. One punch sent Long Fei flying. Long Fei's strength was restricted, and he could not resist at all. He smashed onto the ground with blood trickling down the corner of his mouth as the anger in his heart burned. The man coldly snorted, "Keep being arrogant for Laozi's sake. You dog, who do you think you are when you fight with me?" The man walked towards Xiang Long Fei step by step, his eyes filled with killing intent. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister and gloomy, his hands and feet were bound, but that did not mean that he was powerless to retaliate. He still had 46 dragon patriarchs in his body. There were also 3 giant demons, and there were even 6 endless waves of Galen and Nox. Without waiting for the man to approach, the woman on top of the white tiger shouted, "Junior brother, you're enough." The man didn't stop at all. "I'm going to kill him. This dog actually dared to attack me. I want to let him know just how powerful I am." The lady's eyes darkened and said, "Now is the time for servants. This time we must rely on them to escort us to Nantian region. His cultivation is not bad and should be able to help us complete our mission. You can't touch him." The man ignored him. Long Fei's heart trembled. To escort someone to Nantian region. What is this? Nantian region? Savage domain? Could it be? Something happened to Nantian region because of you? Savage domain? Long Fei's heart was stirred up, his eyebrows tightened. He originally wanted to summon out the giant demon, but now he endured it. He wanted to know what exactly was going on in the savage domain. The man didn't stop, and the killing intent in his eyes didn't diminish in the slightest. The girl's expression changed slightly as her voice became ice-cold. "Could it be that you want to disobey your master's orders?" These words came out. The young man stopped, his eyes sinister as he stared at Long Fei, and said, "Brat, remember this. Your life is mine." The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he said faintly, "You better remember this. I will use your life as compensation for the punch just now." "Humph, just with trash like you? You overestimate yourself." The man disdainfully snorted, then turned to look at the beautiful woman and said, "Senior sister, in the future, don't use master to pressure me." His voice was cold, very arrogant. The lady did not fight with him. Instead, she said to the guards beside her, "Hold him tightly in the cage. Our capture mission this time is finally over. Return to Savage City." The man glanced at Long Fei from the corner of his eyes and sneered in his heart. "When we get to Savage City, see how I'll kill you." And then, the man moved his hand, runes seeping out from his palm and striking the ground. "Savage Wolf King, come out." Just like the spirit communication technique in the Shadowfire world, the power of the rune exploded. A 3-meter-tall wolf with hair as thick as steel was summoned. The white tiger beneath the woman began to grow restless, continuously pulling away from the Wolf King. Obviously, the barbarian Wolf King was of a higher level. Long Fei's eyes lit up, and he said excitedly, "This Savage Wolf King is actually a boss, and its level is not low either." Yin Huang Ancestor also became excited and said, "This mount's blood is very pure, gulp." The two of them were like two madmen. Greedy lunatic. Long Fei wanted to explode it when he saw a good thing. This mount was not ordinary. Long Fei was lifted by 2 people and thrown into the iron cage. During this time, the woman on the white tiger gave Long Fei a glance, then said in the direction of the sun, "Return to Savage City." In the iron cage, the cultivation of over a dozen men wasn't simple. The lowest was at level 3, while the highest was at level 4. "Why did you catch us?" Long Fei probed. None of them replied. Their eyes were filled with helplessness. To them, their cultivations could shake the world in any place in God's martial continent. They were the overlords of a region, but they were caught by the demon beast among the people. The blow was too great. Long Fei asked again, "Who are these people?" It is impossible for there to be such a strong person in savage domain. A man in his 30s exhaled and said, "These people are not from the savage domain. They are all evolved people." As soon as he finished, everyone looked at him. The man laughed bitterly and said, "Do you know about Savage Domain's domain treasure transmission gate? These people have entered the transmission gate. Their strength, flesh have all evolved. We are no match for him." Long Fei's face was filled with shock as he muttered, "Damn, someone who underwent biochemical modification." "Ancestor, is this the case?" The Yin Huang ancestor said, slightly, "Theoretically, is similar to what he said. Although these people are not from the Chaos Realm, they have indeed entered the Chaos Realm and obtained some sort of transformation." What is the Savage Domain doing? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.